Welcome to the Starfound podcast, an actual play podcast of the tabletop role-playing game Starfinder by the lovely people at Paizo. Now, some of you may know exactly what I'm talking about, and some of you may be totally in the dark. Well, for those of you in the know, a tabletop role-playing game mixes the boundaries between long-form improvisation and board games, and what this means is that a few friends sit around a table and collaboratively tell a story, the outcome of which is decided by rolls on a 20-sided die, modified by the character's abilities and skills. So, if a player wants to shoot a laser blaster to hit the target of their bounty in the knee, there are mechanics for that. Or if the heroes need to get into a factory producing an army of war robots, they might choose to disguise themselves, or just talk their way in. There are mechanics for that, or we just talk to each other. I'm also incredibly excited to announce that Season 2 will be coming very soon. We will be live recording weekly on Twitch, and the podcast will be going up a week after each recording session for $5 and up patrons, and 2 weeks later for everyone else. To boot, patreon.com/starfound has plenty of other awesome rewards for our supporters that you can get with a monthly pledge to help keep us making harrowing, hilarious, and heart-wrenching content for your listening pleasure. Now, let's meet the crew of Starfound.
I'm Anne Richmond, and I play Amaru Puka, Vlaka Solarian, First Claw of Clan Yuka, and emotional support captain for the crew of the Kingfisher.
I'm Helena Anderson, and I play Gilleskia, a very clumsy Kasathan mystic zoologist, and I believe in the pursuit of knowledge and friendship. Friendship is good too.
Hi, my name is Parker Wallace, and I play Castor 9, android mechanic and pilot of the Kingfisher. Happy to be of service.
Hi, I'm John Colmer. I play Quentin Kodiak Zionir, a human operative who's running from his past and obsessed with finding out what happened to someone he loved.
I'm Miles Duffield, and I'm the Game Master of Starfound, which means that I guide the story and I play all the characters that aren't our main characters, and I also arbitrate all the rules, which means that I'm in charge of the fates of our dear characters. Finally, sit back, strap in, or at least hold on to something. Let's get Starfound!
I'm going to say that required action is picking up John. Right?
Yeah.
It's the first thing we have to do.
Right?
Yeah.
In character, or are we doing it?
Yeah, we can absolutely do it in character, but you just have to. I'm taking away your agency. You're like...
Yeah.
And
So we were pulling down into Atmo, having I'm outside of the ship.
Right.
So I get back on comms
Yeah.
with our new friends.
Yeah.
And I say, we are happy to rendezvous with you, but we have to pick up someone planet-side before we do so.
Copy that. Why don't you drop Wisp? Where should you drop Wisp? Deposit Wisp at the... It gives you a couple of coordinates near the meeting point you guys had. And we'll be right there to pick you up. You are going to want to hurry, though, back up into Atmo. The ship is starting to descend quickly.
What? What do you mean? Oh, no. Oh, you mean to salvage it?
If you want to take any peeks inside of it and find out anything.
Would it be alright if we brought Wisp inside and had our medic take a look at him? That could buy you more time.
We can't do it. We don't have... We're just fighters here.
Well, we'll definitely take a look at him for you.
Great.
And, we'll talk about the great harvest, what we will reap.
Copy that.
So that was Anne. I thought I tried to say something that tickled me, but the accent got in the way of me having a good time with words. See you soon.
Yeah, what I was trying to express, just for clarity, is that they cannot get out of their ships because they're in fighters, right? They're single man, so they can't dock this descending hunk of partially destroyed ship, right?
Right. No, I totally understand. We are just going to make sure that your best boy is taken care of.
We'll be right behind you. You're about to find out.
So,
And we're going to find out what you did as well.
Okay.
Right? So you guys swoop down towards the planet, towards your meeting
Can I
zone.
be in the ship?
Yeah. We
And
can take
at
you.
what point can I be in the ship?
Before you enter Atmo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
absolutely. And you settle down Wisp's ship, right? And his compatriots are right behind him. A larger, freighter-sized ship kind of pulls in and lands. They're like, "We got it from here. You guys go take care of your business. Wisp will be in contact once he's feeling a little bit better."
Of course.
Actually, you know what? Party tonight. Yeah, definitely party tonight.
Oh,
All right.
I love to party.
I love parties. It's been a really long time since I went to a proper party.
Let's quickly go pick up our friend, and then we party, and everybody gets paid.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes, you've been working for a week, so it's
yeah,
time.
I
We were busy. What are they gonna spend it on, Miles?
I don't know.
Also, that's on them to track how late it is.
I agree.
spend it on Miles.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you. Who's Miles? Who's Miles?
Who's Miles? So you guys, God, we cannot use inside jokes on the podcast unless they were built on the podcast.
They've been outside jokes too. I think I said it last time when you called me Anne, and I was like, "Who's Anne?"
Oh, you're right. You did. Anyway, so you guys zip over towards point D down south, where Kodiak was scouting around. I had you go and scout while they were doing their last episode, right? And they were scouting around the place that you did a lot of scanning at the last time. You learned that there was some kind of buildings underneath a rock outcropping, right? And there were also a lot of life in the little cove that this was near, right?
Cool.
So, Kodiak, why don't you make 3 consecutive perception checks
Ooh.
and a stealth check?
Oh, perception 1. Yeah, buddy. That's
I just threw my dice at you. I'm so sorry. I was supposed to go in.
That was
Power.
terrifying.
Okay, thank you.
Enjoy.
Ooh, nice roll.
Thanks. Just for the podcast, we have this dice tower, and it's right next to my head. So I was looking down diligently, taking notes, and a dice flew at me, unbidden.
I've never missed my dice tower quite that badly. I tried to slam dunk it too, and
You always do. You slam you're not very nice to them.
Well, they need to know their place. I couldn't stand with a straight face.
Dice daddy.
Stop that!
The more resistance you get.
It's a snotty game tonight.
you didn't want that.
What are you, snotty or nice?
Wow.
We are broken tonight. Are you ready?
I've got 4 rolls to
Hold
give you.
Let's go back. All right. So, John, are you ready?
Mhm.
Good. We've made all the puns.
Do you want all of them at once, or
Yeah.
3 perception checks?
Mhm.
You got 33,
Nice.
a 22,
Nice.
a 27,
Nice.
Oh yeah.
and then for stealth, I got a 29.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bish, but it ain't the
30.
check of 30, so you get found, and you did.
And rolled the roll so you can thank her.
Oh. Because you threw it at me.
Anyways, so you staked out around this area, right?
Yeah.
Started approaching it when you noticed that there was actually an aqueduct. So you had been scouting around this area, right? And you had intended to go down in and kind of look at the ruins more carefully, or what you had thought were ruins, when you noticed that there's actually an aqueduct running from the lake to the west of the little settlement marker, right?
Okay.
And it runs from the west and runs from that lake where a windmill picks up water, right?
There's a windmill Who's working? Okay.
and brings it down and into this actual like streak, massive jut of pure shining obsidian, which is like exposed. Right? Why don't you make a physical science check for me?
Oh. Okay. Going for the strong suit. Here we go.
Obsidian. Oh, sweet baby Kodiak.
That is a whole 6.
Great, you don't know anything else about that. But as you continue to watch, you notice that there are people living here. Well, not people.
Oh, shit.
There's bears living here.
Bears?
You're not here.
sorry. I'm so excited.
There's bears, yeah, that wear clothes and have apparently built the aqueduct, and they fish in the cove.
Well, that's gonna be great for the dog people who show up. Okay.
Yeah. Do you, for your awesome rolls, I'll let you ask a couple questions. Let's say 3 questions.
Do I see any signs of like organized military?
No.
Okay.
No, they seem to have scouts, right? Rangers that go out to hunt and to patrol, but you don't see any organized military.
Some
And
more.
Cub
Some
Scouts?
you.
Oh my god, I love you.
So on the grand scale of ancient history, from like wandering Gaul to Roman centurion, they're closer.
What a scale. Jesus Christ.
So okay, question number 2. Do I hear any sort of language that I understand being used at all?
Yeah, they speak common.
And like, am I moving around? This is not a question, but I've been like moving around.
Yeah, you can have some
Kinda get
mobility.
moving.
Yeah.
Common.
Do you want to ask the party?
I can.
Does there seem to be a leader of sorts?
That's what I'm leaning towards. Some
What
sort of
does
leadership
the
politics.
form
or
of
something.
government maybe look like?
Or like a
Hierarchy?
central meeting place. Or
Yeah, I would say, like, they might not have military, but do they have ships?
yeah, do I see any technology or anything?
Yeah,
like that? I mean, 'cause they've done something to.
Broke my pencil, sorry.
Is it more important to know? I feel like we know, we've been told about the other space-based or space-capable people by the dude on the station.
Yeah.
That tells me he doesn't know about these guys because he didn't tell us about
Yeah.
what we're going to ask him.
Well, I also would wonder, like, how settled are they, right? Is a really good question. Because
Yeah,
if they
it's
have, if they built a stone aqueduct,
Yeah,
odds
they're
are
trying to-
they are
they're
the
trying to keep
indigenous people here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, we have tents and have gone into caves and are living in
Yeah.
natural resourced areas. Like, they might be the people who belong here.
How long do I get watching them?
You guys were out for 12 hours.
So I've had approximately 12 hours of time to watch them.
Yeah.
So I would say, what's the questions I
Day
think.
and a night.
Excuse
Bless
me,
you.
thank you.
Bless you.
No, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I would say the question of, like, do they have any magical capabilities or shamanistic capabilities versus, like, what's their use of technology? Do they?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think because that could really be down to just the chance of whether I saw it performed at all. That's what I'm kind of like, what could I come up with it? Within 12 hours, I would have a good chance of understanding about their presence. He's rolling die. I had to pick up the pace.
So, you do notice that they are wearing clothes,
Yeah.
right?
And
They are
walking
wearing
upright.
clothes, and they walk upright and also on fours, right?
Great. Oh, okay.
Depending on
Do your
and
people
their
also walk on floors sometimes?
capability.
I'm not there.
I know. I'm just asking you, like, I'm
Culturally?
asking Anne about culturally. Do the Vlaka also go
They
down on all fours
we
sometimes?
don't really do that.
Okay.
Gross.
It's not that it's gross. It's like I imagine I don't
I don't think that's the way.
think
you
I don't think
evolved.
that's how they're built.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
So I wasn't
Um,
sure. Okay, cool.
They
These guys
do
are-
also. You see a couple of pieces of like armor that requires a significant amount of technology to produce,
Okay.
right? But there's no guarantee that it has been produced here,
Sure, then, fine.
right? Similarly, weapon-wise, they're certainly armed with modern-grade weapons, right? And their boats are largely hover tech, right?
It's cool.
Out of which they fish.
Okay.
Helene is so charmed by this.
So excited.
Please die.
This is
No,
pun number. This is pun number 2.
So do I get any sense of? So if I can see the armor, other things, whatever. Do I pick up any patterns of movement through the people towards the day? So like I'm looking for things like central meeting places, coming back to lunch at the same times, things like that I could gather a sense of how we operate as a society.
Absolutely. In your you watch one effective day, right?
Right.
And today,
Yeah.
there are 3 meals,
Okay.
right? For which most of the entire, you're pretty sure that they're meals, right? Because of time of day, etc., right? Because of, and like the entire group gathers, right? There are children present, right? There's a variety of different sorts of people here, right? Different groupings of skills, right? Some are farmers, some are fishers, right? Some are craftsmen, some are the rangers and scouts that we were talking about, right? One more question.
Oh, I thought that was my turn.
Yeah, I'm giving you one more because
Oh,
you've like kind of half-assed a couple.
Oh, I don't know what. Okay, great.
If you don't want to ask another, I can take that back.
Do I see any? Did any of them stand out as a leader, or did I witness any kind of just deferential treatment towards any one or type of the bears?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of them that seem to be giving orders.
Do they look distinguished in any way? Like fur colors, markings, armor.
There's no clear
I'm a bear with a crown.
yeah.
I am king of this land.
Yeah, there's no military rank present. There's no sub races, right? There's nothing like that.
You know what's stupid? Is you were like, ooh, I wonder what I could pun here, which I can't fault you for because I'm Anne, and I do the same thing. But you said it, and then you were so fucking proud of yourself. You were like, anybody? And we were all like,
I was waiting for it to
no.
process on Parker's face because he was looking down at his papers, and then I saw him hear it, and then he just put his pencil down and sat back and looked at me. I was like, there it was. There it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was waiting for.
All right, so you all pick up our fundamental member of our party.
Do I,
Yeah.
do I meet them back at a...
Yeah, we
Yeah,
probably
you guys have
established
like
a spot.
a place that's
Just call me the Panda Bear.
Oh my god! Sorry, Tarzan.
Country bear, take me home.
I got nothing this time.
For once.
My nickname is Kodiak.
Oh my god!
Did you just put that together?
No, I forgot about
Now, on
Oh,
the
okay.
scale of Ewok to grizzly bear, what are we dealing with?
Grizzly,
Ooh.
polar,
Roller.
brown.
Love it.
Yeah.
But the leaders did not appear to be...
I
of
wish
any
that
kind
your
of
face
cult cohesive type.
translated.
Okay, cool.
No.
Because it's so
Right.
ridiculous.
So it's not like the polars like rule all of them. The grizzlies are in charge.
No. Yeah.
So we swoop down.
Yeah, you pick John up.
Grab.
Or Kodiak up, excuse me.
Who's John?
Hey, gotta go.
Well, right, you're here. Okay, good.
Yep. I was like, I think that's me.
Yeah. John was just having a brain fart.
Yeah. No, we're all there. We'll say we're in the, because we're getting ready to go somewhere, and we let you know that, so we'll all be in the, bridge area.
Okay,
Does that sound good?
Yeah. first call, how do your people get on with
Bears.
bears?
I have never met one, I don't think, right? I don't think there would be any reason for me to.
Uh,
I mean, I imagine just as well as we get along with other people, which is usually pretty well. People tend to like us.
okay. Mark, is there anything in the databases about a bear type species? I mean, they were talking common and walking on hind legs from time to time. So, is there...
That's
Culture
that's
checks, or you could make a
Can I culture check?
You can
since
make a
I am
natural. What is it? Natural
life science.
life science. There we go.
Minus 5 for zoology.
Thank you.
DC.
We
I was going to say a natural history museum check, but that's not right.
25 for a culture
Nice.
check.
That is a 20.
Nice.
Dirty 20.
You guys got the
Dirty.
same score. I think.
Oh, wow.
Look at us.
Okay,
We're rolling
that's
so well
nice.
now, and it barely matters.
Oh,
Barely.
I got a dirty 20.
There it is.
Hey, he got a dirty 20
Dirty
too. Where the
20.
dirty is.
14
So
on culture,
naughty.
that's why I'm asking Mark.
Well, so you in particular, Kia, know of there is a process that essentially, how do I put this sensitively to the bears? I don't know why I'm being so
Morphs them
sensitive
into
to these
more
bears.
humanoid-like
We don't
things.
even know them.
Exactly. You don't even know them. Why do you care, Miles? There's a magical and technological process that awakens animals
I knew it.
and brings them into a greater ability to achieve sentience.
Ooh. I relate this to my compadres, and then add a little, but is it worth it? At the end, you know?
What kinds of people can do this kind of magic?
That's a good question. So, this process is actually entirely lost. It's pre-gap tech.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So we've kind of we know about the results of it rather than anything
Yeah.
about how
We
it
know
ever
we
happened.
know history
Yeah.
of before the gap. We just don't know what happened during the gap. It's not like we don't know that period of history books remain. We have no idea what took us from the generation that lived in, ancient fantastical times. to-
John has had an 8-episode misunderstanding of how the gap really worked. Great.
Well, I think it's that and a bit of lost history.
There probably is a bit of lost
Yeah,
history just because
Well,
some people.
This millennia of lost history in
Mhm.
between.
Yeah, no, totally. I think I just, for some reason in my mind, history books disappeared and vanished. Something,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was literally from this point forward, no back.
Oh
right?
no,
At
that's
all.
not it.
I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there
That's
is
a
history
total
up
misinterpretation
to
of it.
300 years ago, but that is our AD, right?
Of
Yeah.
course.
And our
Then
BC
something
is then suddenly
happened and we have
located
no idea.
millennia before.
We don't
Right.
know what's going on in the midst.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Just gotta reshuffle my brain a little bit now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
So this kind of tech or magic is pre-gap, so I don't really have any information about it, but
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure we'll come into contact with them, hopefully. Hopefully, were they nice?
I didn't get close enough to figure out if they're nice. I
Fair.
didn't see anything that would lead me to believe otherwise.
It seems like they
course.
probably just want to live their lives based on your description.
Yes, but I didn't see any space tech.
Right.
So there's a real chance that they just don't know there's anyone else out there. And
It also could be a situation where maybe someone or some group of people created them as some kind of fighting force, or thought they would be able to incorporate them into a different society or something, and then they asked for their freedom to live as they would want. I mean, think about it. The description you're giving is just kind of like, they're fishermen and craftspeople, and they want to farm, they want to live their lives. It doesn't seem like they're interested in exploration, and sometimes I don't know. It's a bit of a leap, I guess, but I feel like that is indicative of a group of people who maybe just feels like, this is our time and our space to do it as we please.
Your pals.
Honestly, if that's the case, I truly think that we can get along.
Perhaps a diplomatic mission might be in order before the cavalry arrives.
I would love those fighter guys. Right?
Well, first we have to go and see if we want to try to salvage the ship.
What ship?
All right, so
Oh.
please help.
Sure, I can explain that.
Wait.
So, we went...
Point of fact, is the ship that we're on not the ship with Mark?
No,
No,
it
it
is.
is.
Oh, it is. Okay,
Yes,
great.
it's-
Okay,
we were
yeah.
very-
We wouldn't have let you just ask
That's what I was
Mark
like-
on a ship and
That's why
say
I was like,
nothing.
I was like, assume we're on that ship still.
Just
Okay,
let him do it. Just let him do it. Makes him feel better.
Yeah, it makes him feel.
So basically, what happened was that we went to talk with Wisp, and there was a bit of a back and
Who's
forth.
Wisp?
Oh, the leader of the
This
squadron.
squadron.
Okay.
In order to sort of solicit a little bit of a treaty, maybe, and a partnership. Anyway,
He is not into political jargon, let me tell you.
It didn't
He's
like
not-
me
he's a bit
very
of a-
much at first.
he was a bit of a pain in the
So
arse.
we raced him.
I was going to get to that.
I'm sorry, I got excited.
This is like when you go to a holovid place, like a cinema, and they show you like a trailer. That's what we just did. A trailer for the adventure. Because we told them all the best bits first, and now he's going, "Well, I really want to know the story."
Well, if we're talking best bits, I'm gonna
Don't.
lick his head. And I messaged you in the comms, but you didn't answer, so
No, it was
that's
too far out.
I was probably going to get to that eventually, but anyway.
That's
So
adorable.
It was
he-
an intimate moment that I had to witness in our small little ship.
I'm sorry, Kia. No, that's not your favorite.
He
I
needed
hid
some
Fox's
stylistic
eyes.
help.
Is anyone going to let me finish?
Yes.
Please.
Sorry, Caster.
Thank you. So, he wanted us to race him to decide what the outcome was going to be, and it was kind of easy mission, to say the least. And as we were going to get to the orbital mirror, which was the endpoint, a giant dreadnought drifted into our path, and he hit it dead on in a T-bone, and we had to rescue him, and we basically nuked the living hell out of that dreadnought.
Amaruk nuked the living hell out of the ship.
Just call me Amaruk Nuka.
Yeah, that's what we're calling her now.
Okay, great. Whose dreadnought was it?
Well, we
We
don't really know.
But
So
it-
we just
Destroyer.
nuked it.
It was hostile.
Oh, they definitely tried to kill us like a lot.
Oh, okay.
So,
Fair enough then.
And we
I suppose we never did try to hail them, though. So we just
They
kind of
shot
went
first.
for it.
well, I had a feeling they were very friendly, to say the least.
Yes, because as soon as once the ship had bounced off of the shields, not our ship, Wisps, they immediately went as if to destroy us next. And then when they got tired of trying to chase us around, because this boy right here, I'm
Shucks.
sorry, what's your pronoun? I forget. Do you care if I call you a boy? I don't know whether
Doesn't
we
matter.
You
I mean,
prefer they them, or what do you?
I'm
prefer?
sure I'll find out that eventually. But
All right.
just him. People call me him.
All right.
Sometimes.
So he is actually the best pilot.
Stop it, Amaru. You're gonna.
It was
make
pretty amazing.
You're gonna make me blush.
See what I mean?
So, if I'm hearing you correctly,
Kia stares uncomfortably.
two ships came soaring out of low orbit.
Just one. We were with the other one. We were racing him.
Yeah, you were racing him. And
Then
he-
another one came out of the drift.
And boom,
All of a sudden.
Wisp bammed into the shields and just knocked himself out.
Right, so effectively looked like he was intentionally on a collision course with a larger vessel, thus creating a situation where
You're doing a
firefighters-
terrible job of explaining this. It came out of warp.
But isn't that
This
called
large
drift?
ship. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I get what happened.
Yeah. What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that it looks like we were picking a fight because they came out of drift and got.
We
hit
would
with
have had
collision
no way
course.
to know they were going to do that.
That doesn't matter to people getting attacked.
I don't think that's what they thought was happening.
It's in the past at this point. Let's just go rummage through the old scraps.
Also, if they had thought there was any question, they always could have hailed us. We could have hailed them too. But they shot
But
first.
we nuked them instead.
They shot at us, then we nuked them.
Cool. I'm not trying to question any choices that were made. I'm just...
I am the first claw. No, I'm
No.
kidding. That's not canon. I just wanted to be.
No,
And I'm JK's. That didn't happen.
It's fine.
Look at
I
me.
just-
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Great.
Yeah, and we barely got out of there. We have to do a little. I
We
say
have to
we.
save our friend.
True. We had to do a little bit of a getaway, and we hailed the rest of the August Squadron, and they came in and.
It was pretty amazing, though, because Kia actually moved all of our shields to the other side, so we had to take on the blast like a giant shield for our new friend, and it hit us like boom all over. The ship was like taking all of this damage, and it was crazy. And then I was outside of the ship, and I saw just green light forever, and I just gave him the finger as we went away.
And I threw up in the corner.
It was very
It's
stressful.
still there.
Sorry, Mark. I'll clean it up.
Cody just kind of leans over towards Kia. Is the squawks okay?
The squawks is fine. Though he was trying to eat the throw up earlier, but I made him stop. No, I made him stop. Stop it!
That's it. I'm just gonna...
Oh, you.
Like runs off towards the back.
It was really scary, honestly, because I didn't know if we were going to live or die.
Same.
Oh, I'm glad you're alive, since I would have been left there
Bears.
with the bears.
Listen,
These things
Just
happen.
call me Mowgli.
There's one bear.
I'm sure I could have found the bare necessities of life if I'd been left there.
He already made the joke. You can't make the
I
joke.
am going to shoot you
Sorry.
out the airlock.
Articulating wildly.
Doubling down. It's called yes and.
There was such a pause between the time when you were like, it's called yes and so ready for high five. You could have counted the 3 in the time that it took Miles to decide to be like, okay.
His hand from behind his resting
It's
place.
so difficult.
That sounds like a lot of excuses.
All right. Y'all. Like, can we stop bickering? I mean that in the kindest of ways.
Yeah. Ultimately,
Yeah.
it's probably best that you weren't there because it was very scary. And honestly, I didn't think we were going to make it a couple of times.
That's true.
You stopped me.
And we've got a party to go to.
Oh, right.
Party?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the August Squadron invited us to a party.
Only because you were such a badass.
Only because you were such a great captain.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
It is, right?
So, I think we should try...
She just gets really excited. She gets really excited and pants. Her tail is just like wagging. Like, very
that
excited.
bouncing in a circle
Yeah.
thing.
So, I'm thinking priorities are we clear up the vomit that Kia left,
I can do that. No one touch it. It's weird.
Then we got to
Because
go
also vomit
salvage.
is not
and then
to
we
be
go
trifled
salvage,
with.
and then we go party, and then we'll see if we can do a diplomatic mission with the bear steam. No, that's
Stop!
I hate you.
We'll-
we just
we'll
start
see-
sucking experience points for bear puns.
We should ask
Barely
the August
have any
Squadron
as
what
it
they
is.
know about them.
Stop.
Negative level.
What did he say?
He said that he barely
Doesn't
had
matter.
any. I can't repeat it.
Anyways.
Clearly.
But yes, Castor, I think that's a good call. I'm gonna go clean up the vomit in the corner, and then we can go get the rest of the
Go
stuff.
ahead and put us on a course to go and intercept the falling ship!
You got it.
Squawks! Stop that! I get my space Windex, I switch it down with my other hands, I do a good job cleaning.
I pick up the squawks,
Yeah.
and I try to pet it.
With that much what is the word? Not tenacious. Tenacity.
Tentative, yeah.
Tenacity and tentativeness is two different things.
It's so
We're
different
stuttering
things.
so much, we're like one step from being like the penitent man shall pass. We're like one stunner away from Indiana Jones. The penitent
Make
man.
a diplomacy check.
Oh, I will, and I still get advantage on those, or not advantage. That's a different system. I get to add a d6. Glad I do. Okay. Let's see here. That is a 21. The 6 turned into a 21. Just wanted to be very clear.
Wow.
Nice, cool. So you pet the Squawks appropriately.
Yeah.
Squawks is like trying to chew at your fingers. You think it's teething.
I think it's the best. Just put my fist in its mouth. No, I'm kidding.
Have you guys ever done that to a teething puppy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That moment where they're like, your fingers are the best thing, and you're like, here, have all of them. And they're like, wait, I did not have it.
Yeah, it's so good. That's why I said I do it.
I'm so glad we were communicating about that story.
We did this with our young,
Oh, it's weird now.
like our babies.
And now it's weird. So
How is it weird?
don't worry, it's fine.
On a
It's
scale-
not weird.
on a
I'm
scale-
sorry.
On a
It's
scale
my
of,
culture.
on a scale of 1 to licking my hair, how weird is it?
Why is looking at your hair
Negative
weird?
4. Licking your
It was
hair was
there was
weird.
something really, I don't know. Helena and I lost our absolute shit.
I think it
I
was.
didn't think it was so
So,
bad.
you guys
Dogs
return
move
to
people.
orbit. I'm moving us on. Why don't you scan this fucking shit?
Is that a science officer thing? Or
Yeah.
Is it, or a computer? Oh,
Computers
computers.
check.
Computers, yes?
Yeah.
Computers.
Get that big ass
Computers.
D20 out.
Okay.
I'm cheering you on.
I appreciate it.
Come on!
That's the one.
Natural one.
Sure is
So what's your total, regardless?
My total regardless. Well, that would be a 14.
Cool. So this ship is in a bad way. It's in a really, really bad way. Several
Boom,
pieces
boom,
of it
boom.
are like falling off, right?
Yeah.
Several pieces of it have already fallen off. The inside is probably is probably vacuumed by now, right? And the parts that aren't, the power core is probably leaking severely. There's going to be irradiation inside, right? To boot, it was shot to a point where its thrusters stopped working. Where at a distance from the moon, where the orbital mirrors are in stable orbit, right? This destroyer is much, much heavier than the orbital mirrors. It is sinking towards the surface at an alarming rate. I'm really excited to see where this thing lands.
I have a really good idea.
Seeing the bear.
Oh no!
Guess
What?
they're gonna be toasted now. It's gonna
What
be
if
on
we
the
could
bears.
adjust where this lands to land, like, on one of the camps that
How about,
the bad pirates are
how
at?
about on top of that plant fucker?
That's not enough for me.
Do we know that the other pirates are bad pirates? For sure.
Pirates.
Listen, you went and hung out with a bunch of fucking commandos and fighter squadron people, whatever, too.
They have some kind of honor.
They easily could have been pirates. I wasn't there. I don't know.
You don't know, and I'm telling you
Great.
that it's probably fine.
Great.
Ooh.
Oh,
She says it very, very confidently, and then looks out. Like anyone who continues to look at her face as she looks out the viewfinder in the front is like, "Who am I becoming?" Like sometimes you just have to roll a hard 6. Oh God!
Okay. I'm gonna roll D100 to figure out where this sucker lands.
So we can't try to. It's just too destroyed.
No,
to
we're
get
figuring
it
out where it's gonna start.
Oh, got it.
So it's a good thing that you guys looked at that because it is coming down only a couple 100 miles from where you're scheduled to party tonight.
Party, oh
Like
no.
that.
We need to push it. Can we push it? Well,
So it's coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes northwest of E.
What kind of effect would that have?
Why doesn't someone make a physical science check from hell? You can add Mark's additional bonus because this
Just
is a
3.
serious comp.
Which is +2 or +3?
Can't remember.
It's 3.
That's great.
I'll do it.
You want to do it? Okay. Like
15.
Plus the 3?
me to roll as well? Or
Sure.
We're all doing it.
That's a 4.
That's your 4? So yeah, a lot. I got 31.
Great.
You
Cool.
know what, Caster? I never liked you.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It would be amazing if you were like, yeah, I don't know. It's unknowable. And he was like, well, actually.
Well, actually,
Kia can't bear to look
Thanks,
at him.
Ask Jeeves.
I swear to God, John, my boy.
Who's John?
Who's John?
All right. So, this destroyer is already in the process of falling apart, and upon descending into the atmosphere, it's gonna come to pieces. Right. The outside of it is absolutely alloyed to be resistant to entry. Right.
Interior
So, but the interior is going to tear apart. So what's going to happen is that it's going to cluster bomb across these mangrove forests, destroying massive amounts of ecosystem and probably scattering large amounts of water in all directions.
We should try to push it into the ocean.
or nuke it again. Because if it's got a cluster.
We don't have any more nukes right
Maybe
now,
not.
buddy.
Do?
No, we don't.
Yeah, we're out.
How many did you fire?
Yeah.
All of them?
It was a big ship.
And you don't have
They
time to
they
re-up.
recharge, but it's not going to recharge now.
Yeah.
It's not like we used all of them for the entire game.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. See, I thought we had a lot.
So
We, have
C
5 per
is
encounter.
the green camp is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, approximately 3,000 miles.
Oh.
I mean, is this,
Yeah,
is this the kind of
3,000
thing-
miles to the west.
That's going to be rough to try to readjust.
I guess I'm asking Castor this question, but is there got someone into the cockpit that they could
Oh my
drive it into the oceans, to keep it from doing this cluster and spread thing that Mark's describing, to make it actively go nose dive it into the oceans?
Everyone's face except for John's is just this wide-eyed horror, and John's like, "We got this."
Well, one thing I remember is the first thing to go were the aft shields, which
Was over the power thrusters.
why? You've already made a scan.
was
Yeah, could we get the ship back to be operational?
Oh.
We weren't, operational enough to land.
Sure.
With the you have as much information as I can give you right now.
Okay.
I mean, it's worth a shot. I mean, is there any way to get out of there?
I mean, I'm
You have an hour and a half.
I'm coming up with this as I think of it, but if we get in there, see if it's possible to even do that. If it is, point that fucker at the ocean, blast those thrusters on high, let it come streaking in, and then get the fuck out and let it go. Right? Because right now it's just taking the natural.
Right.
I don't know, whatever the gravity.
Couldn't we try to push it with our own thrusters? Couldn't we try to pull it somewhere, attach?
It is huge.
Versus our ship.
It would be hard because it's gradually gaining gravity as it enters the atmosphere.
No, but I mean, just when you say dreadnought, John thinks biggest fuck off ship ever, and we do this little tiny speedboat. So that's why I'm I don't.
Yeah.
think of
No.
why would we-
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have no interest playing a game where you don't have the stuff that's in the core rulebook. Right.
Yeah. If it's in the core, we can
So
figure it out.
yeah. No. I'm gonna pull it up right now. So here's the clearest reference that I can give you. Your ship at most could carry 20 people.
Right.
Right? Their ship at most could carry 100 people.
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
thinking
that's fairly massive,
Yeah,
right?
no. I'm thinking USS Enterprise, thousands of people.
Yeah, no, it's not a carrier.
Cool.
It's a destroyer.
Got it. Destroyed. Okay, good. That's
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
It is much more clearly referential to real Navy ships.
Here's something that I want to know
Yes.
that I don't believe we had a chance to ask last time.
Yes.
Can we tell, is there any way that someone with, like, ship knowledge could try to tell what,
That's me!
like, what culture would typically use a ship like this?
Yeah, sure. Make a culture check.
We were very scared last time,
Porker?
so we didn't make...
You guys did not
Any
ask
checks.
a lot of
Yeah,
questions.
we
You
were
just
very
pulled
scared.
The trigger. I've never seen you guys pull the trigger before asking questions. It was kind of interesting.
It went well.
We kind of needed that, man.
It was theatrical.
So I
It had a
I guess
beginning,
it's a minus
middle,
5
and end.
BC, I guess? Or is it-
Culture.
Yeah, it's a minus 5 BC because of my
Yes, I'm aware.
voice pilot.
So 25.
Thank you.
Yes. How dare you. This is going to be interesting.
It is now.
Oh, that's good. That's a 22? 22.
Nice.
Not a 30.
You.
So this is actually a unique ship from what you've seen, right? Some of the design elements seem to reference bits and pieces of. I'm so sorry, I have forgotten the name of one of the Pact World's planets. So I'm gonna have to look that up real quick. Of Triaxian
Okay.
architecture and design, right? Yeah,
That's it?
yeah.
Cool. So, because it's unique.
Not sure where it was made entirely, right? But if you were gonna make a guess, it was made somewhere on Triaxis, right? But it was not made for any Triaxian coalition or the Skyfire Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So, it looks like it was built in Triaxis,
A
but
Pact World ship?
yes, but it wasn't. It's not like a standard ship in any sort of guild or coalition sort of thing.
Who lives on Triaxis?
That I don't.
Triaxis, Triaxians, right?
Yeah, right.
Who
are?
are a humanoid species that have Triaxis has long winters and long summers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have two different types of themselves, right? They have a winter coat that they shed mostly when summer comes, if memory serves right. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've gone over all my Pact lore stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But to boot, that's what controls half of Triaxis. The other half is controlled by dragons.
Oh boy! We got to get on that ship! I want the dragon boat!
So, actions, questions, concerns.
I mean, we can try and hop in the cockpit, and by we, I mean Pastor. I mean, I'll go with him for moral support.
Do
and very
dragons,
supportive.
do they fly ships sometimes?
Make a culture check.
Oh boy! 13!
Probably.
Oh!
Probably. Wonderful. Okay.
Great. What are we doing?
Are we going to try and board this, or are we going to try and, warn them?
I mean, if Mark says we have 90 minutes to do whatever the hell we're going to do, and we're blowing about 5 of that here right now, then yeah, I think it's
Right.
I think it's suit up and go.
Okay.
Okay.
We need to keep you on our ship, right?
I'm staying on the ship.
Well, how would you...
He's the only one who's going to be able to
You can
effectively
only-
make repairs.
Pilot.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Ooh. Well, who else can drive? Because not me.
I think we leave Mark out.
Can Mark dock with this ship? Can we dock with it?
Yeah.
Oh, we can just try to dock. So then
You'll
we're just on it.
magnetically click
That's
on the
perfect.
bottom.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. I don't know why
Yeah, let's
when
dock.
we did that with the other thing that I didn't think we could do that here. Yep. Dock it
Alright.
up
Docking
Great.
and
now.
start the count.
So your ship eases in on the side of this
Mhm.
hull of this thing, which by the way was shaped like a scimitar out the front, and then its two queons were two bridge stations on either side, arching up and
down and had a massive pair of heavy lasers that extended out the front of it, right? And you notice as you approach that it has in like bright, in almost dried blood red, the PSS for Pax Systems ship, the Advance, on the side of it, right, emblazoned in dried blood paint. Not actual dried blood, that's just the color. And you're pretty easily able to land on the side of this, like, shuddering ship as it begins to descend and is, like, coming apart bit by bit by bit, and find your way to an airlock, pop it. Actually, make a hacking check real quick.
Hacking check?
Caster? Yeah. Computers.
So
Computer-
you're
is
going
that
to want
on
to...
the board? On the
What?
excuse me, the ship? Or is
Not
that-
on your ship.
Not on my ship. Okay. I'm just gonna find that sheet. Where are you, my boy? Cortex?
You're just using your computer
Oh,
skills.
it's the computers? Oh, okay.
Your
Oh,
exocortex allows you to hack from a distance.
yes, but I don't need to do that right now, right? Yay, let's do hacking. The +3 for being on the ship?
You are not on the ship.
I'm not on the ship. Okay, in that
You
case
guys are on the outside of the destroyer.
27.
Great. So it's
Before we pop the door, Kodiak's just gonna go on comms that he's dead.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I look at you and say, let's go ahead and activate our shields. We have our personal shields.
We do.
Yeah, remember they were very expensive, so remember to use it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You
That
have
employer
like a
feeling.
brown shield or something like
Well,
that?
yeah, brown one.
Yeah.
Force field, tank capacity, healing, temp.
How many temp hit points does it give you?
10?
No.
No?
There's no way.
Because
Because mine is 5.
I'm not. I don't.
I think it's probably 1.
This is 1.
One.
Yeah,
That's
so you
a
get
1.
yeah, but it keeps anything from like while yours is activated, it will keep you from being touched by anything. Like energy signatures can come through, but any kinetic damage can't.
Great.
Yeah, it has to go through that.
Great.
Point.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, you're quite all right. So you begin to pop this hatch, right? Air rushes out, and you begin to float inside. Perception checks. Why don't we do?
Oh, goody.
Whee!
Hey, that's a 3.
Nice.
25.
Did you roll a natural 1 or a
11.
natural 20, John? Okay, good.
So that's 34 on the final count. But
Great. Sounds
that's
good.
One.
So you've are able to quickly move through this area, right? You learn that there's definitely the people on this ship were armed, right? You actually don't find any bodies, but you do find bits of blood on bulkheads, etc., from the battle. Indeed, the ship is being rapidly irradiated, and even without sinking into nothingness, the core would probably erupt very soon. And in fact, may erupt after it comes into contact with the moon. And you also find a large amount of space to carry troops. Plenty of weapons that are left over and were not grabbed. There's one half-destroyed tank left in a cargo bay, and there are all 8 of the escape pods have been fired.
Okay. The lack of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Would I understand? Is that because we fired?
It does not seem like that either.
So was it full?
So
Did
why are
it
there
seem
no
that this
bodies?
was full?
From your perception of looking around, looking at bunks, yeah, this was packed.
Then
Okay.
Where are the bodies?
Well,
People
I'm sure they were
possibly
able to. I mean, unless it's. I know I'm saying the Titanic, but usually you have enough escape pods to help people get off the ship.
Everyone?
Does that seem like a crazy assumption for me to make? That they could have evacuated as many people as didn't, like, die on the bridge? Their pods could be huge. We don't know. I don't know if that's a crazy assumption.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like a crazy assumption. I'm trying to figure out the reasons inside the world. Right?
Yeah, like, why would you launch a ship with emergency systems? And, I mean, this is Titanic all over again. Like,
Yeah,
and
so
only leave it up for a captain.
Let me give you a little bit more storytelling
Yeah,
about
yeah,
what
yeah.
the ship looks like. It's deeply bare bones. It's
Mhm.
deeply Spartan. It's very clearly run like a military ship, whether it is or not. Right? Everyone has a specific, like, the amount of law and order clear in just like the setup of the ship is remarkable. You are able to find the bridge, right?
Okay.
Which is in like massive disarray. You have to like fling your 0G bodies up a massive elevator shaft to reach the top of this bridge, right?
Yeah.
But it is mostly intact itself, but like papers fly and float, view screens are tumbling through space across them, and there are similarly like a few pieces of blood, or not splatters of blood on the ground and on several consoles.
Wait, would it be floating? Blood?
Some of the blood is floating. Yeah.
It orbs. It hasn't made contact yet.
Is there any way for us to try to restore some shields or restore, like,
Yeah,
gravity
this
and life
question.
systems?
Make an engineering check.
Engineering check.
What would happen if the shields? Is that a thing that shields can do? I don't know science. I'm asking.
What?
I mean,
Figure
that's not a
that.
science question. That's a bullshit question. No, meaning like I have to bullshit the answer no matter what it is.
Yeah.
27.
27. So systems that are currently operable are nothing. Nothing's working.
And there's no way to get it working.
No, you could get it working. It's going to take time, right?
How much
The
time?
one thing that you don't have.
A little bit left.
So what you can see from the bridge, right, is that a part of the engine room is just missing.
Huh.
Right? The core is still intact, but like kind of threatening to fall actually out of the ship. It's just spewing radiation in all directions. Yes.
What if we were able to launch the core into space and shoot it with our ship so that it explodes out here, and when this makes impact, it makes less of like an irradiated impact? It sounds awful and hard, but like, if anybody could do it, it's you!
We may not even need to shoot it, to be honest. Right? It's light enough that it might just get caught in the orbit and spin through space as a satellite.
That seems like a very dangerous satellite.
Perhaps, but I'm saying we don't necessarily need to focus on having to do all of those things.
Satellites fall out of orbit all the time. Do you really want like a surprise nuke to land somewhere random?
The core is not designed to withstand the pressures of re-entry into orbit, right? So if the core starts to descend, it's something back with it.
Is that true? Is that how science works?
I mean, it's the way it was just described is the external alloys of the ship are what was designed to be able to do entry and
Right.
through orbit.
So what I'm saying is, if
was not.
so, we talked about at one point, and this could be just Anne's misunderstanding, but we talked about at one point with our own nukes how we wouldn't want to necessarily nuke things on the ground because, much like Hiroshima, like it would irradiate an entire area. So I can't imagine something exploding and irradiating the atmosphere is healthy.
So interesting fun fact, right?
Yeah.
With the bombings going off, one of the reasons that didn't create the fallout. The thing about fallout is it has to hit the ground, throw dirt up into the air, the dirt gets irradiated, the dirt comes back down as mess, and that's what spreads with weight.
Okay.
So if you spread the radiation up in the sky with nothing for it to glom onto, there is a chance that, like, you might get acid rain, you might get some bad effects, but you don't necessarily get, like, complete ruin the way you're thinking of, right?
I would love to shoot it in space.
Also, we don't
I was like,
not only is it safer, but it's gonna be cooler.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but like,
Are we thinking about appearances now?
I mean,
what are you
I'd
trying
love
to
shoot
say?
Core, the dead of space.
Alright. Well, I mean, we only have a certain amount of time at
Yeah,
this point.
so
How
let's-
much we have,
So let's. Is that a good idea? Does everyone agree with trying
I mean,
to get
yeah.
the core out
Yeah,
of here
how
at
do we
least?
launch it?
I mean, do you think you could barrel roll the ship over in some way, like turn the ship so that it ejects it away from the planet?
Well, we'd have to be able to get the piloting systems back online.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
don't know.
possible?
In order to get the engine to work, the core needs to work.
So I think we just need to question. Describe the core to me again.
The core.
Hey,
Like-
nerd.
Could we on our ship
Uh-huh.
fly to that part of the ship and spacewalk a very dangerous dance of life to disconnect the core from the falling ship
Mm-hmm.
and then pull it out like an Easter egg out of a basket?
Yeah.
Are our suits radiation protected?
Yeah. No.
No.
No, not at all.
Do we see anything? In
Oh,
the logs
also
that
I
indicate
have
whether
no
they had
resolve points,
radiation
so
suits?
let's be easy on our decisions.
Would I?
What was that?
Would I
I just remembered I have no resolve points,
Yeah.
so I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
really want
Y'all haven't had a chance to have a rest yet.
to. No,
No.
not even a little.
would
Mm-hmm.
I suffer radiation poisoning as an android, as a construct?
If you don't have resistance to it on your racial stuff, then no.
Great.
Well, then yes.
I mean, yes. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Sort of. So,
The gentle science of
any
Starfinder.
questions, any comments, any concerns? I mean, plenty of concerns. We've expressed
I mean,
Well,
concerns.
it seems-
concerns radiation poisoning.
Is there anything useful in the pieces of paper flying around? Can I grab a couple and just see if there's anything?
Sure. Make a
The computers are what's dead.
perception check. No, computers are still functioning decently, right? Enough for you guys to get information,
Yeah.
right?
27.
27. Nice. Anything in particular you're looking for?
I just want to see what sort of information they were keeping on paper. So,
Absolutely. You see a lot of readouts about the drift, right? A lot of readouts about time expended.
where'd
You
they come
see,
from? Does it show the distances that are traveled or anything? Like that?
absolutely, they came from Brethida in the Pact Worlds.
Okay.
Was their last point of call. There are references to a Captain Dirtbath
Ah,
and
and he's soaking, no doubt. Oh, it sounds super.
and to a first mate passenger or Zed. Yeah, that's all that you can really discern from that. You got a 27?
Yeah, 27.
Yeah. There's about 80 souls aboard.
Okay.
I feel a little better about there being no bodies then.
Yeah.
If 8 escape pods went out,
Yeah.
quick math 10 each, that's much
Yeah.
more understandable that they would be.
Yeah.
That they got out.
Okay.
Whoever was alive.
So we decide what to do.
That's a skeleton. for this kind of
Here's
shit.
the thing. I think that shooting this thing into space would be great, but I don't think there's any way for us to, from the ship, launch this thing, launch the core out, right?
What do you mean?
We talked about a situation in which we tried to extract the core doing a spacewalk ourselves, but that seems like a real shitty idea. So is there a
You
way...
could do it. You would just take a good amount of radiation.
I don't want to be
It could
radiated.
really hurt you.
Hey, here's the deal, is I'm very tired, because I don't have any resolve left, and I don't feel resolute, is the thing about it, because it is very likely that I would be doing the spacewalk, is the thing.
Yeah.
And as great as that sounds, no, is what I'm saying. So is there a way of us, from within this ship, to eject the core? If
Not
there's a
using-
huge...
Not using the computers, you're going to have to do it. Nope.
There's a tank.
Do the August.
There's that
What's the
tank in
basis?
the hold.
There's a tank in the hold. Could we use that somehow?
It's partly
There's a
destroyed.
tank.
Yeah.
More
Oh.
like
Oh.
blow it up while we're still here?
Yeah, we could just, while we're still in orbit here, very quickly go detach and blow up the core so it blows up the entire ship.
I mean, if
I
we're
still
gonna
have
do that,
some
why don't
grenades, I think. Let's see
Yeah,
what
we
got.
have our rail gun, we have
I
our
was gonna
coil
say, if we're
gun.
gonna do that, why don't we just go back on our ship and
Do
do
it.
that and just target
Yeah.
the core and then get the fuck away from
Yeah,
it?
because the thing is, like, I'm not going to do a spacewalk. Like, I'm very good at it, but I'm not really feeling it right now.
You do a natural science check, yeah.
I don't have a lot of, like,
16.
backdoor possibilities
Yeah.
left.
So, if this does make contact with mangrove swamps, like it's seeming like it's going to, it will probably destroy that entire ecosystem.
Yeah, so we should just blow it up from up here. We'll use the rest of our guns. We'll shoot directly at the core.
Yes.
There are no shields left. And we'll try to blow this thing sky high. Let's collect as many of these papers as we can so that we can maybe know if there's like a group of
Can we
like...
download anything?
Kia's
Can we,
arms are like...
Can we
Yeah, so many. I was
arms
made for
grabbing on
this.
Can we download anything and like into our suits, like temporary chips, whatever, or like take any like?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's download the captain's log. Let's download everything we can.
Whatever you can. Go ahead and make a computer's check.
I
Computers.
hand you my data pad and I ask you to download the captain's log onto it.
Thank you, Miss Amaruch. That's still a good number.
Literally any interaction you two have, I've just been like looking at Cody. And
I
looking
know.
At Miles and, like,
I didn't know you thought it was weird until last time, but now I feel really anxious about it.
oh no!
Not like in a super bad way, just like, oh no. Continue.
22.
22, great. You get as much stuff as you can, and you bolt towards your ship.
The ship.
Do I see anything? Cody, can I look in where?
And can
you
we
know,
grab
in the
any,
event
like-
that,
Sure, make a
this-
computer's check.
I would say in the event that this core was ever going to have an issue, they should have a way of fixing it on their ship.
And I would like to know if we can see if there are any like guns, any like anything that we can salvage quickly on our way out. Since we
Totally.
got a good idea of like there are barracks and there are this and there are that,
Totally.
we should try to get med supplies. We should try to get whatever we can on our way out.
Okay, so you're gonna have to pick between time dealing with the core
Mm-hmm.
or time salvaging.
You mean we can only do one or the other, or it'll make the other harder?
It's gonna make the other harder.
What if, as we're running out, we just look on the hallway that we're running in and we go, oh, grab things. We'll just be super fast,
I mean,
take what we can, but it's more important that we don't
Let's
blow
try
up
to
that
take
swamp.
whatever we can on our way out, but let's not dilly-dally. Is that okay? Does that make it...
Absolutely, no. I just need
Okay,
a tactic.
yeah. Okay, cool.
To give you
Yeah,
a DC.
and I want to prioritize medical supplies, because that's useful for everybody.
valuables.
All right.
Guns are very
and I got a
valuable, but
15.
these people are fighter
I got
pilots, so...
15 on my core, radiation.
Yeah, they absolutely have radiation suits near the.
Could I find
near the
location?
bay. Yeah.
So, you have to like go into the radiation zone to get one.
No, it's outside, right? Because you have to wear one to get into the core.
So it looks like they've got radiation suits if somebody is feeling brave enough to suit up and go into the core to eject it.
It's a super bad idea.
I'm not. That's why I'm asking for volunteers.
Yeah, I feel like it would be me, but the thing is, I don't know how to express resolve points in character.
You're tired.
Yeah, I
You're
feel like on any other. So she says, you say this, and she like leans in close to you, and she goes, "I'm a little embarrassed to say this, and like normally I'm pretty much up for anything, but just not today, buddy. I don't think I got it in me,
It's fine.
but like I'm pretty good at it, so I was kind of assuming you meant me.
You are.
I know,
Just-
I'm so good. Tail wag.
All right.
Unless somebody else wants to try to do it, but I'm not sure.
No.
Yeah, the best person to do it would be Kodiak. Would be Castor.
Hey.
But then who would be on the ship driving the ship? Our ship?
Death itself. Me.
Wait,
I'm not saying. I'm just.
let me figure this out.
Yeah.
So Anne understands
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah,
difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot
So
going on.
so in a world where Castor puts on a suit, has resistance to radiation, cuts loose the core, we all run back to our ship, get on our ship, and then try to shoot the core. That can happen?
I mean, what we know, I'm going to say before Miles gives us a total no here.
Yeah.
What we know is that Miles said we have no way. That is not a no to being able to eject the core if we get to the core.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
But what I'm
like,
saying is,
we may not know
in
until
my
we're there.
mind, I pictured someone down with the core trying to eject it,
Yeah, someone needs to
and then
spot it.
someone flying our ship
outside.
unattached to pull it out.
I don't think you need to pull it out necessarily, unless it's the thing is like if we're talking about ejecting a core, right? A ship like this is too valuable to lose.
Yeah.
It likely would have a way for the core to be
Ejected.
actually jettisoned
Okay. Cool.
away from the vessel.
If that's something,
Oh, that's a very cool idea that I never thought of. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
but the thing is, if that can't be triggered from the bridge as a failsafe,
all right.
because the computers are shot because we nuked
Right,
the plane
then we would
already.
have to go in there and do it. And I
Which would be
totally
cool.
get that. What I'm saying is it possible for us to get that? And then all of us, including the person who was in there doing the spacewalk in the core radiation zone, to get out and get back to our ship in time.
I don't know if I can tell you because you guys don't know what's going on in the engineering room.
Yeah. So it's either if we did it that way, I can imagine that others of the team could go and do searches at the same time, and in that way we could try to salvage more stuff. Make sense?
Yeah. So
Because we won't be able to help.
here's what I think. You want to prioritize med stuff. Do that. Figure out where the med bay is and harvest and take it back to our ship.
And you guys
I'll
try
go
to
with Castor,
jettison.
and I'll be an extra set. See if we can't just shoot this thing out into space somewhere.
And then get to our ship
And then
and
get to
let
our ship.
impact be impact.
Yeah.
Okay,
I love it.
I like it.
Good talking through, y'all. That was excellent.
I'm very scared.
Great.
I love when we have an idea and we're like, that's a terrible idea, let's do it!
Isn't that role-playing games, though?
I know, I love it. That's why I love these
If
games.
it didn't feel like Firefly,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be worth playing.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you described blood red things on the side, I was going,
Reaper!
As soon as he said it was the words in blood red, I was like, ooh.
All right.
I'm excited.
So, let's start with you two medics.
Yes.
Why don't you make perception checks?
Okie doke.
That is a 24.
Thank
Nice.
God. 14.
Look of
Nice.
confidence
Cool.
It's not
in
bad,
face.
but it's not great.
Beautiful. So you guys start rifling through stuff, looking for the what's the word for the doctor's office on the ship?
Infirmary.
Great. So you
Yeah,
guys start
medical.
looking for the infirmary. Delightful. Meanwhile, the other two of you, Kodiak and Castor, begin heading towards the engine room. Right? As you begin to approach it, you can feel everything getting a little bit hotter around you, right? Even in this very cold, weird, floaty semi-vacuum, right? And up ahead, you notice that there's all the proper safety protocols. There's a double bulkhead, right, to keep the radiation out, and there's the scrubbing room in between, and your series of radiation suits on the right. Now, here's the first problem.
Oh.
You're in a spacesuit, and you need to be in a vacuum-sealed radiation suit. It's not like a jacket you put on over a t-shirt.
And there's no atmosphere in the ship.
Yeah.
Oh, heck.
In the isolation ability of the scrubbing room, there's no way to seal it and create atmosphere in there, so we can
It's
change?
dead-ish, and in order to get through those two doors, you're gonna have to pry them, right? A lot of the fail-safes are dead, right? So the first thing is acrobatics check.
Alright.
Or,
To what?
oh man, did we already split up?
To what? Yeah, we made our decision.
I could have helped.
It's over. Life bubbles are us.
I'm just a life bubble of the big, big world.
30.
Oh,
Nice.
that's 22.
Nice, beautiful. So you look at each other and begin to
Good feelings
peel
gone.
off your nice safe spacesuit. The silence rushes in, and you begin to feel the void start to pull at you as you desperately try to scrabble
Oh my
for
god!
this
oh my
new
God.
casing,
Miles!
right?
Oh,
God.
Castor gets his leg caught, and Kodiak
Oh my God.
pulls it up on him, manages to secure him in barely, and the helmet comes down, and you turn around and rustle him into his suit, seal it up, compress it, and air rushes.
Oh my god.
I never want to do that again.
I'm so anxious. Oh god.
I didn't think it could get worse than last week.
I am so glad I don't have to breathe.
Then why did I help you with your leg?
Androids,
Do
they're
you
just
actually
so...
have to
I don't take any environmental effects in a vacuum as a construct.
That's cool. That's cool.
Really cool.
That's
I
great.
love the idea of you being chuffed at the, convincingness of your sentience.
Yeah.
Whoa!
No, not in a weird
So,
racist way, just
no.
like...
No, so
Oh,
I'm with
now
you
it's
because in my mind, my head started Arnold Schwarzeneggering in
I
the
hate it.
original. What's its
Yeah,
movie?
yeah.
Blade
What's its
Runner,
movie?
whatever,
Yeah,
whatever that movie was.
Yeah, that
Total
one.
Recall.
Oh,
And I'm imagining,
Blade Runner.
I'm imagining Castor just puffing his cheeks out to try and mimic the fact that my face is expanding with the lack of cohesion.
Just nodding and just a big bug eye. Nope.
Yeah, but especially since in the part of the
Adorable
reason it's
bastard.
funny to me because you in our first episode I think said something to the effect of I don't seek out
Yeah.
constructs, and so the idea that you went to go and help him, he's like, oh, I'm a part of this now. I'm Castor. I love it.
That one's going in the memory banks for later, buddy.
Right, good job, we did it. Oh.
Woo!
Alright, so everything, sensors on the suit and everything all looks good? This is a functioning suit?
Yes, it absolutely is. Everything's working.
What does
just
it
fine.
mean for the radiation? Does it mean zero
It'll
damage?
be reduced by 1 step.
So we still have to act fast. Because we're stepping into potentially a very leaky...
Not potentially.
To
Definitely.
a very
Leaky boys.
The Geiger counter is flickering and clicking in your ears.
So can we take a quick player moment to understand how radiation works in this system? Is it like
A
fatigue?
poison that leads to a sickness.
A poison that leads to a sickness. Is it reversible if we in enough time?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, but it requires
Nice.
your saves in order to cure yourself, right?
Nice.
Medicine
Mhm.
can aid it, right?
Chemical bath.
But yeah.
Alright, let's get to it then. I guess,
Yeah, so you guys begin to pry open these 2 doors, right? Get into the scrubber room. Some of little bit of bits of water kind of fly out reflexively from the showers up above, floating ominously through the air as the green light from beyond pierces through them, refracting across the walls. And you pry the second door open, and it feels like there should be a sound that rushes over you. But all that you can hear is your heaving of breath as you begin to examine the wreckage ahead of you.
Are they floating? Okay.
Yeah, they're in 0G. The mag boots were attached to their spacesuits.
Great.
They no longer have that ability.
Cool.
Let's start with 2 things. Let's start with an engineering check and a fortitude save.
Great.
Am I also making an
Yep.
engineering check? Okay.
So I'm just gonna say this is engineering,
Great.
Mhm.
and then I'll do fortitude. 21.
21 for engineering. What did y'all get for your fortitude save?
Fortitude save is. That's better. Let's see. Where are my fortitude saves? Is 17.
Fortitude was 17. I'm so sorry. I'm bouncing back and forth between rules. Dude, John, I'm so sorry. You told me twice.
No, I haven't told you yet.
Okay, 12. Not so good. Okay. 1 second, I have to do some roll review. I didn't think we'd end up here.
Isn't that the truth?
Um,
Miles, what if we split the party and went into an irradiated core? Sure, guys, go ahead.
I don't got anything else going on.
y'all will be fine.
I do feel like you are so good at just creating a problem and not thinking of how we might solve it. I need to do that
Another
more.
beer.
Yeah.
I need to do that more as a DM.
More beer.
I just realized I had one left, and I was like, "Who hasn't had a second
Baby
yet?"
wants beer.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, when you guys are ready.
Yep.
I am baby.
Do you need those engineering checks as well at some point?
1 second. Okay, so you are now weakened.
I am.
You're gonna take a -2 penalty to strength-based ability checks, attack rolls, damage rolls, and skill checks.
You okay there?
And you are encumbered.
I don't like being in here.
Yeah,
We'll
your
get on
speed
your
is
fast.
reduced by 10 feet, and your
Get
dex
on your
bonus
fast.
to AC is reduced to +2. Yeah, that's bad news. The wave washes over you, and you instantly feel this punch in your gut as your very internals start to try to come out of you. Right?
It's okay, buddy. We got this. We got this.
What do we need to do?
Stay with me.
Engineering checks.
The first one was an engineering check. That was a 21.
What's going on outside?
They found us.
It is
Quick,
raining,
the space police are here.
The space
police!
The police!
Wee woo.
The police! Wait, that is way too close to the... Anyways. So a 21 for your engineering check. What did you get, John?
20.
A 20. Wow. Nicely done. So ahead of you is this, green, almost hourglass structure, right? That is, pulsing with green light, right? You can see that there's, once was a casing outside of it that probably had coolant. That casing is now shattered, and the dark blue pieces of coolant are floating around you, splashing against various different pieces, sticking to the walls. Now the core is indeed askew, right? And there's a slight hole in the wall that's partially covered up with pieces of shrapnel that are jutting out, right? But it's clear that the initial explosions that's happened inside here wrecked several catwalks and blew a hole in the... My God. How do you podcast when people are being people outside? And there's and blew a hole in the side of this ship, right? Any questions, comments, concerns? Is anything you guys want to know?
I mean, do we see any sort of locking mechanisms, any sort of immediate target that we would go to try and release the core? Or is there any way, or alternatively, is there a way that we could paint that hole in the side in some way so that we could more easily just shoot the shit out of it from space?
Totally.
One of those two options.
So, let's see what the dice think. So, sure enough, there is a release at the bottom of the core tube, right? In order to install and release this thing. However, it has a part of a catwalk jammed
all over it, right? That is like melted from the heat of the core as well. And it's like super close to the core. So in order to get it open in the first place, you're going to have to go down there, move that heavy piece of metal, right? And then find some way to get that like locked release open. And then you're going to figure out have to figure out how to drop this hourglass core out through that hole in the floor. Does that make sense?
We chose the easy task.
Visually, at least.
It makes perfect sense. What I am concerned about, things don't weigh anything. It's more just that it's stuck rather than that it weighs anything. From our perspective.
Yeah.
However, I'm my forte.
Would that be an athletics check?
Probably going to be more strength based, and your issue is dex.
No, he's suffering from strength.
Oh,
Right,
I'm sorry. I misheard.
Like, the -2 to the things puts me at a 1.
Would you?
On athletics.
I would do an athletics check, and maybe you can roll to assist me in some
Yeah.
way?
I mean,
Someone make an intelligence check.
I'm doing
That's gonna be him.
That's
That's gonna be him.
Definitely not
16.
Amaduke.
16?
Yeah.
Leverage is a thing.
Leverage is the thing, and then I mean, computers is like, is there any kind of computer release? Right? Can we use? Is it like this? Feels like the kind of thing that, like, in a situation, the chief engineer would be able to just go and hit a big ass fucking button behind a glass wall that does a process to eject this.
Absolutely.
Can we look for that?
Roll for
If
glass
that wasn't
button.
all broken.
So we
Yeah.
check this out.
Hotwire.
The radiation has done a number on the electricity in this place. That's radiation does that, right?
Sure.
I don't know, man.
In space, everything's possible.
Yeah.
I used to think that I really understood
Does
like space and science
radiation
surrounding space
have
until
an
I sat down at this
effect
table with you guys,
on-
and now I'm like, I'm really glad I have an intelligence at -1 because I am useless.
Electronics. Does radiation have an effect on electronics? Radiation effects on electronic equipment depend on the equipment and the type of ionizing radiation to which it is exposed.
So like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
This radiation, real bad for that
So bad,
electronic
wee woo.
stuff. Wee woo. All right, actions.
Are you able to help me?
Yeah.
It's okay if you can't.
No, that's why I'm here. Just
All right.
how do we do this?
I'm gonna roll athletics.
Great. So what are you doing? Tell me your
Um,
specific tactic.
So it's leverage. So see if that moves it in a way that will have it released easier.
I mean,
You're
it's-
just
it's-
gonna try to lift it off.
Just
But
lift
if
it off
it's-
and
but
see. Like, if
Is there anything we could grab? Are there any other, like, piping or pylon or something else that we can jam in there and pry?
Perception check.
Ooh.
One fucking time my perception roll's not good enough.
Do you want to roll?
My
17.
17. Are you gonna roll?
Right when it fucking matters.
Yeah, that's tiny better. That's a 5.
17 is
17's
pretty
not bad.
good.
17 is pretty good.
17.
You rolled a 3 and it turned into a 17. So
I love that pattern. 17. 17's not bad. Yeah, 17's fine. Miles, 17 is good enough. 17 is good enough for you.
because I believe it, wee woo.
Great. Yeah, you were absolutely able to see like a massive piece of pipe that has been blown off of a wall. Acrobatics check to go and get it.
And that's impacted by the
Okay.
radiation?
No.
Great. Then yeah.
It's another strength check.
Goes well.
Then yes.
22.
14.
Nice. Beautiful. So you're able to like jump up,
Hot
bounce off a wall, and like come back with this big thing. Caster catches you right on the floor of this area.
How romantic.
Now, I just like totally ignored you. I'm sorry. Very funny and good. Yeah.
I could laugh for myself. It's fine.
I will always laugh at you.
But like, can't you just imagine it as like it's like the anime trip, but like
Yeah.
in like a horrible irradiated zone with like green light, and they just like
No.
And got herself strength checks, you irradiated bastards.
Just slow motion in the zero grab of space, just catching him. And, like, the pole is weirdly between them, so it's, like, not as intimate as it could be.
So with
So
a minus
good.
2 to strength, then I would be
Someone
basically
draw
at
it.
0
I beg you.
as my modifier. So then that's
15 total.
Ouch.
We're not the strong ones.
You're not the strong ones, but since you're using leverage, I'll give you advantage. Go again.
Advantage.
Is that for athletics or is that for strength?
It's athletics.
Oh, in that case, I have. Was that roll for athletics then?
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, that wasn't a 50, that was a 21.
Great. I gave you advantage. Roll again, anyways, just
Yeah,
for the.
Yeah.
For the.
See?
For athletics, it's
No.
Well, that's worse.
Great. Well, then it's the previous.
It's a previous one. Great.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
18 for me.
18,
21.
21. Beautiful. So you get this pipe underneath it, right? And begin to haul it up, putting all of your weight behind it, and it flies off, but it, like, begins to lift off, but the pipe begins to bend to the point where it's not useful, and you start to, like, clamber underneath it and barely get it up and off, and it, like, floats away before, boom, making a solid contact with another part of the ship, which you don't hear, of course, but you feel in your feet. Fortitude saves.
Yeah, I was just like, I feel like I need to vomit.
10.
Oh my god. My poor irradiated BBs.
Remind me of the fortitude impact from radiation.
Right.
No.
So,
Great.
question.
15.
Well, that's a.
There is nothing better than when you roll real bad and you're just shuffling through your sheets being like, there must be some way for this. He's literally got like 5 sheets
I
out
do.
and he's just frantically shuffling.
What's the day we rolled a failed knowledge check? That's not a knowledge check. Thing.
All right,
No.
John, you need to make another fortitude save
Another one?
because I fucking told you.
Oh god, do what he says, we will.
Oh, 10! I did 15, and then I did 10.
Yeah, you have radiation sickness.
It's okay, your
You're
BFF's
now
good at healing.
impaired. You take an additional -2 to those affected checks, rolls, and DCs.
Yeah.
And you are now overburdened.
This.
Get this Baron out.
BB.
Get the Baron out.
Your
You're gonna have
speeds
to
are
drag
reduced
me
to
out of
5
here real
feet.
soon, so what are we doing?
Your maximum dex bonus and AC is reduced to +0, and you take a -5 penalty to strength and dex-based checks.
Are you gonna tell us at any point what's going on in here?
Yeah.
Why would I want to worry you?
I don't know, man.
Oh.
I'm gonna probably do that. This is Castor here. We have some really.
Oh, the comms still
Everything's
work.
good.
That's nice.
I
Okay, good.
Oh,
God.
God, that scared me for a bit.
Good.
Jeez.
You're so to hell.
You're so mean. You're so
You're
mean.
so mean.
All right, continue.
Don't antagonize it.
I don't mean to worry anybody, but Kodiak is having a little bit of trouble with the
Stop. Just, we need to get this done.
radiation poisoning, Kodiak, and it's all right. I'll be right back.
Oh no.
Actions.
From us or from them?
Either.
Well, you guys are in the middle of something, so I don't want to
Yeah, me either.
live your dream.
Okay.
You can assume that
So, like,
we're looking at each other in a hallway,
As,
being like,
so as Castor's like on the comm to things, and then he's like still trying to comm. Kodiak just like with all of the energy he has is like 2 hands on either side of his suit, being like, "What do we do now?"
Unlock the reactor from the core.
Great.
And that we might have to do manually. Is it a strength check?
Yeah, next step is getting the hole in the ground open.
Hole in the
Which
ground.
is that
yeah.
release switch you said?
Yeah, so you're gonna first have to try to unlock the, like, stuck locks. So, why don't you make an engineering check?
Got it.
I am so nervous.
That's a 30.
Nice, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you, like, get your crowbar underneath a paneling, like, pop it open, it goes flying across the room, and you, like, dig into the like, electrics down below, and, like, pull a couple wires, and then find, like, a manual switch, and wrench it, and there's this...
and this, like, the magnetic lock on the clasp underneath comes undone. And now you can start to pull on these pieces to try to get them apart. Athletics checks. You're rolling it up.
That's a good one. That's a 24. I'm sorry, I killed Amber a bit.
He's like,
With a
oh
minus
god,
1, that's an 8.
succeeding
It's-
is so
it's worse
good.
than a
I know,
minus
right?
one now.
I love
Well,
it.
but my athletics would have been a 1. And
You're
then
at
you gave me another -2 on it.
You're at a -4 to strength
Ugh.
based, plus the
Right.
you're also overburdened, so that's a -5 on
Oh.
top of it.
Oh god, look at
okay.
this.
So minus,
I wish
so wait, hold
Miles
up,
looks like a
plus-
constipated
so let's
frog.
just make
That
it-
is the
let's-
best description of his
So
anxiety.
let's make this easy. Let's make it easy because my suit that I'm in also gives me a -1 already, right? So that's 5 from the radiation and my suit, and then another 5 from being encumbered. So that's a -1 on that roll.
Great, good.
So I guess it's 0.
Get
It's a 0
him.
on that
Zero,
athletics
yeah.
roll.
Yeah.
That's
So
math,
Castor
everybody.
like shoves his his crowbar in between the two and starts to pry it open, and you like kind of stumble over and get your fingers in there and start to desperately try to wrench, but halfway through the process you collapse. And then get up and try to work it open again, and eventually it pops, some release happens, and it slides open with a shook. Now you have to release the payload.
We will.
And that's just a switch?
No.
Nope.
And that's just a little boop. little.
Whoa.
So
That-
you like jump up, riding right alongside of this like humming mass of radiation to reach the top of it, where it's all attached and where it spreads out across the rest of everything. The rest of the ship, excuse me. Make an engineering check.
28.
28. This would be really easy. You had a plasma cutter. You could just zip right through these wires.
Have a laser rifle.
Great.
Does that work?
So, my image of this, right, is that, like, you reach the top, you scream down to Kodiak, get out of the way, right, and Kodiak begins to, like, stumble backwards
Just
away
roll.
and, like, floats away.
Oh no.
I don't know what it is with you and poison, Kodiak.
He loves
No,
it.
you're easily
He's
Um,
It's a glutton for
He's
poison.
he's a poison boy.
And then you stick your, like, jam yourself between the remaining, like, covering outside that used to hold the coolant, right? And the like edge of this core. Pull your laser rifle from your back and just start to unload into this. Make a fortitude save.
Don't. Miles likes to ask us to do things and then look at me like, yeah, watch your friends die. Like,
How about a 20?
Nice. Beautiful. So your laser blasts like start to rip through this thing, tearing holes in it, and it starts to come loose, and then eventually it cracks, and you're able to like push off, pressing it away, and it begins to float downwards, and you're able to fairly easily guide it out of the hole and down and into space.
Alright.
Do I see this? Am I still conscious?
Cody, I'm coming to pick you up right now. I'll be right there.
Not you.
What?
Kia. Castor, help.
I'm coming, Co.
you're going to get that hug. I just know.
Is that about the hug?
I don't say that on comms,
Miss-
by the way.
So I'm just gonna. What is that? What is that?
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm trying to find the name of it. Where you put your
Fireman
arms.
candy?
No.
Harry?
Fireman candy.
Fireman's candy.
The best kind of candy.
That's just the calendar that comes
I
out
think
every
that's
day.
a princess carry is what you're physically describing.
Princess
Yeah,
Carrie?
Fireman's
Yeah.
is over the shoulder.
Oh, that's right. Princess Carrie over there. Wait, princess kid. Like, is that what it is?
There's no, like...
Treat
you're
him
just-
like
I
a
was-
princess.
I was just thinking, like,
Just
under-
pick him up.
underneath-
You're scooping me up.
scoop him from underneath the armpits and just kind of like kind of.
Dragging me
Oh,
back.
under the
Yeah,
armpit.
Not the.
I was like, just pick the man up. Jesus Christ.
I scoop my hands underneath and I go like, Robbie Anson, let's get you out of here. And I'll
Great.
just
You
drag him
guys
out.
float back, exit out, and finally make it back to the rest of the crew.
Now,
Is there any-
did we
do you
find
do
any
radiation
stuff?
process with the- we can't, because that room's shot, right?
Yeah. Did we
Alright.
did we find stuff during all of that?
Yeah, you found a good amount of stuff.
Okay, cool. We'll cover that later.
It's less like something that I can give to you, right? It's much more like you found medical supplies. Right? You raided the cabinets of
We can like
destroyers.
health serums. Looking for some health serums.
No.
Those are med supplies.
They are, yeah, but you didn't find any of them.
Okay. Well,
Cody, are you okay?
I'm so glad we didn't stay and help.
May I lay my... actually, I'm gonna lay 2 hands on Cody. One on his head and one on his chest. And give him a mystic cure.
What is that gonna do mechanically?
Make him feel better.
Win the game!
Will that do anything? No, because it's poison, technically. Never mind.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're-
wait. Oh.
Heck me.
mechanically, your best bet is giving him bonuses to fortitude saves.
That hasn't helped at all.
What about serums?
I
of
believe so,
healing?
yeah.
Great. Well, then next time I'm going to remember that I have that. This was a better story anyways.
Great. Actions, what are we doing? We go back to the ship,
We're going back to the ship.
and you're disappointed that I didn't give you health packs. Or health,
I'm
health
fine. It's
serums.
just, I feel like we took a risk and didn't really gain anything.
You guys
for it.
have a bunch of health supplies.
But like just med kits, or like what does that even do?
So you have more health med kits and stuff than you could ever use yourself,
Right.
right? So it's a lot of like trade materials, right? You have
Uh-huh.
a battleship's worth of health supplies.
It's fine. Honestly, ignore me. I'm not. I wouldn't describe my demeanor as petulant child. I just was,
Close.
but I was just hoping for something more readily useful. But I understand how this is also useful, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And thus the story goes on.
I'm so tickled
What
by
is
you being so
serum
mad about that.
healing?
and
I'm
sorry.
not mad. I just feel like we could have done more for these small BBs.
You just would have been making fortitude saves as well.
You're right. You're
Right.
not wrong.
All
You're
right.
not wrong.
So you guys get back on the ship, take
Mhm.
off, right?
We're gonna have to shoot this thing now.
Is there any? Am I at any risk of irradiating anybody else? It's
No.
Just the sickness I took.
No. Yeah. You are not
Does
a piece
Kodiak
of
know
kryptonite.
that?
Get away!
That's what
I'm
like-
poisoned.
That's what I'm like, how- would he know that? And his, like, I don't know.
Someone make a physical science check.
Was it life science or physical science?
Physical science.
I mean, that's a total for a 4, so Kodiak is convinced that no one should touch him.
Don't even look at me.
25.
I am hideous.
That's
I mean, but also, so Kodiak is convinced no one
Mark.
should touch him, and is gonna try to fight you off, and he has 0 ability of strength to do that.
He's just like
So
no.
in his mind, he's like thrashing. Like in his mind, he's thrashing wildly about. But in
But it's
reality,
just your
his shoulders are
shoulders
just, like,
are just-
shrugging. He's just like, don't.
I know.
Kodiak. You do know that's not how it's fine. It's fine. Shall we come out and shoot that thing out? Of
Yes,
the
Let's
I
do
will.
it.
I'll hop into the gunner seat
I'll hop into the pilot seat.
because you can't really shoot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do shit right now.
It's fine. I was all right
medicine?
last
Can
time.
I do some medicine on him?
Yeah,
for him?
absolutely.
Cool. But the thing is, my serum of healing, I was looking at things.
It's not going to help.
It's not gonna help.
Yeah.
Neither is my mystic cure.
No.
What about the things we found in the med
Take a
kits?
medicine check.
Yeah, did we
Okay,
find
a
anything in the med
medicine check.
kits?
You have
They're
Give me that
soldiers.
medicine check.
They were soldiers. They gotta have radiation
absolutely have
tabs or something.
Radiation tabs. Yeah.
Radiation-
Yeah,
radiation.
we did it! We got something tangible!
Oh, buddy.
Dude, did we?
Why are you guys glaring at me?
No, I'm not. I'm smiling. Look at me.
Helena is not.
Helena.
I'm just confused.
What?
Everything.
That doesn't help me.
Wait,
assuage
do I
it.
need to do a medicine check?
Yes.
Great, that's what you. Okay, I understand.
Net it
Right.
up.
Great, that is a 22.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'll let you make a save right now, John.
Oh my god.
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
16. Not good enough. Great.
Good enough?
It was good
Do you
enough.
know why?
No.
Medicine check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, plus my toughness that I now know about?
Well, you
Does
didn't
that
add that, but
I didn't do that.
What does
probably.
toughness give you? Because I
It
have
gives you
that too.
Plus
Um,
4 to constitution checks
Yeah.
for intense checks.
Right, I knew that.
So
Okay.
so then in that case it would have been 20. But-
I'm not sure if that applies here. Anyways,
Intense-
too
it's
late
fine.
now.
Oh, yeah,
We'll
no, you
look
know
it
what?
up
It's
later.
not the kinds that are described because it is a very clear description of the kinds of intense checks.
Cool.
So yeah,
Okay.
16.
All right. So, you guys come about, fire on this core, right?
I'm so ready to hit it.
And it shatters and spills out across space. And below you,
The Ewoks
Destroyer.
rejoice.
Are you guys going to adjust the direction of the destroyer at all?
Do we have time?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do that much.
How much time do we have?
How can we do it?
It's
How do
so
you want
much-
to do it?
The
Hate it.
computers were dead. It's so much bigger than us. It's
You could try to blow it
deeper
into
into
bigger
gravity.
pieces.
Yeah, like the thing is, let's just try to hit it a couple of times to make it smaller pieces.
Okay, but here's the thing. We know a singular-ish point that it should land on.
Right, but it's still going to like destroy an ecosystem.
Yeah,
Not
we
if it's
don't
not
want to leave
radiated,
it
it
small.
won't spread.
It'll still cause
It'll still cause a
big
huge
waves
impact.
and
I still
chaos.
think we should try to break it up into much smaller pieces
Okay.
because smaller little like
Sort of
pieces
pepper the
fall
whole-
from
pepper the whole
space.
moon.
Yeah, smaller pieces fall from space all the time. Especially we're
Oh,
close to the
okay, yeah.
diaspora, right? So
Yeah.
like I
Mhm.
imagine they have meteor showers sometimes.
Why don't you give me 10
Ooh,
attack checks?
ooh. What to
Oh.
with the guns?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck!
Oh my god!
I've been waiting to matter. Okay.
Here are the things.
Yeah, I
That'd
know. I
be so
add my
weird.
stuff. So I'll do. Let's see. I'll start with the coil gun for fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
The fun gun.
that is a 13.
Keep on going.
You have a couple of these.
11.
Keep going.
Let me just see if I can. I'm narrowing in on it. God, it's even worse.
We-
That's a 9. Ah, there we go. It's a 19.
Great.
13, 11, 9.
Continue.
You tell me when to stop, okay? I'm just going to keep rolling. 9. It's going I can't add. 18.
Great.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a 24.
Great.
Ooh, a 16.
Right.
And a dirty 20.
Last one.
And a 12.
Alright, what's useful to you out of all those numbers?
Great. I got him. You're all
Great.
good. Thank you.
See how good I got while you were gone? He's like, I imagine he's like, how did they even manage to get to this point? I swear to God, it was so much better.
That was
Oh,
really
my
good.
Lord.
I couldn't roll for shit. I just kind of vomited in the corner a lot.
Caster is just like at the palace. You just go, admirable job.
Thank you. I'm putting my back into it.
Yeah.
What's that? What's that voice?
Yeah.
Into it.
Into it. All right. So you fire as many times as you can. You make a couple of really solid impacts, break a couple of large pieces off, right, and manage to generally disassemble a good portion of it, right? But there's still like a large chunk of this ship that's gonna hit atmosphere and hopefully break apart.
Mm-hmm.
You want to watch?
Yeah.
Well,
I
should
mean-
we tell the people downstairs?
Well, let's definitely message our friends. I will open up the comms to our pilot friends in the August Squadron
Great.
and let them know that we have done what we can to launch the core and get rid of it. Right?
Yeah.
And they should brace for impact. What did you say? 5 hexes away?
Yeah.
5 hexes northeast?
Northwest.
Northwest. 5 hexes northwest. You may see a bit of impact from the ship. We tried to break it up into smaller pieces to minimize the effects. Sorry.
Sorry.
We did our best.
Sorry.
Oh, and
Wow.
I'll say,
500.
if any of you can suit up and come up here and try to shoot this thing
It's too late.
before it... Bye!
But y'all got really, really lucky. I set a thin window that you affected with your
Really amazing.
Well, you hit half the time.
Oh, really? It
You
felt
did
way
pretty
less.
statistically what you would expect.
Okay,
Right?
that's good.
But as this thing begins to enter the atmosphere, right,
Mhm.
and the fire begins to wreathe around these pieces, this last like major chunk, right, which is like the 2 pieces of the bridge that come off in either direction,
Mhm.
start to come apart. The iron, not the iron, the coating around it begins to peel away and then flies off. And bit by bit, this thing comes apart into a bunch of different asteroids, and they begin to fly down towards this mangrove forest below, peppering and smashing into them, but not creating any massive tsunami or a huge wave, right? Below, you can see that no fires have even started because of the large amount of water in the area, right? And it looks like, all told, this was a complete disaster averted. Good job, y'all.
Yay!
Good job, y'all.
Oh,
So-
God.
So on what kind of recovery do I? Because I took 2 massive takes.
You have to make 3 consecutive saves.
Okay, so I'm basically still fucked up, but not getting worse.
Yeah.
With that last check.
Yep.
Great. Okay.
Can I medicine him again?
He will take 1 save per day.
So
Well, we need to rest in general to repower the ship's
Should we take a
things.
disco nap for the party?
Is that
You
what
do
is
not
that?
have time.
Yeah, it's time to party.
It's time to party, I guess.
Time to party on 0 resolve. Party without resolve.
Drinking time.
We've officially run out of spoons.
Yeah, basically. I'd like to use 1 spoon.
1 spoon. 1
Um,
spoon, please.
So actions, what are you guys doing? Are you guys heading straight down back to the mangrove swamps? Or to
Well,
the mangrove
I
swamps
gotta-
for the first time?
I gotta change my shirt.
I go and
Great.
visit Cody.
Great.
Yeah.
Go for it.
where am I? Am I in her lab? Or
Yeah.
Am I, okay.
Yeah. You're there
I'll
too,
go
right?
to my
Yeah.
lab.
Okay. It's looking really good. Look at all of this getting to good use. And how are you feeling, little soldier?
What the fuck?
It's like what my grandma used to say to me
it's
when I was sick.
It's great role play.
How's your lollipop?
Is it, or do you hate it? I
No,
guess.
I'm being perfectly honest.
Just Emma just strolling, just going in. How's your lollipop, little buddy?
How are you doing? That's good, huh? It takes a brave little soldier to face me 10 times. I guess. I don't know if that was... Well, you get it. It's a compliment. Feel better. No, but really, is there anything I can do for you?
Probably.
You could pay him.
I did already. I've said I was going to. Did I? I guess we were like running around. Yeah, I'll get that. I'll get all of you your money. What? How do you prefer? How would this work, actually, Miles? Do I need to do credit chips, or can I just like put it in their accounts?
You can just get it in their account.
Just
Okay,
Venmo.
cool. Yeah. So I
Venmo.
space mow them all.
Cosmo.
Yeah, I take out
Oh, that's
my
good.
computer, and you each get your 800 credits for the week. And I say, Kia, we are very lucky to have someone like you. You had everything well in hand with this. I wouldn't have planned you. I know. And if you...
Alright, I guess...
She just kind of like awkwardly pats you on the shoulder gently, and goes to muss your hair, and then thinks better of it because she doesn't know. She just it's like when, because from the very beginning he's just been all up about like, I didn't ask for this, I didn't come here to die, like, and 2 times he's just been completely wrecked. And she's just like, alrighty then, like, ooh, yikers. Yeah, she nods to Kia as like, can you... Oh, sorry.
What?
We will please to come outside.
Oh,
Talk to me.
totally. Yeah, totally. I get social cues
Sure.
all the time.
So the door like
I
closes
get them on my
around.
phone. I get them. They're not text messages. Oh my god.
I say, I'm a little worried about that one.
He is what the kids call stupid.
Amanda
No, I
just
don't-
goes "Mer," and like head to the side, ear up.
No, I don't mean stupid as in not intelligent. Just he'll run in, swords up without thinking about what he can actually handle. He's a superhero in the making for sure, but he's in the making still,
Right.
which is why I'm here.
Yes, and thank goodness for that. I feel a little bit like am I leading him badly? Because I feel like I keep putting him in positions.
To be honest, he's the one that came up with that plan.
You're right.
So
I
you
feel a lot
really
less
don't
bad
need to-
about it.
Yeah, you don't really need to worry about that.
Yeah, you just know how to make me feel better about myself.
Great. I'm so glad.
No, that's really helpful because I'm very guilty about a lot of things. It's just like my natural state,
I go between your legs and I'm like, oh no, there's the guilt trip. And,
Yeah.
but then it comes,
The guilty
and goes.
tail.
It is a guilty tale.
I don't even think my tail would have fit in the radiation suit, so I don't know what I'm so worried about.
Yeah, and then you lose all the hair on your tail.
Oh
and
no, that
looks
would be
awful.
very undistinguished. No,
Yeah.
you were right.
No,
Well, thank
I
God we got those radiation tablets, huh?
Yeah, very helpful. So this party.
Right.
Is there a game plan? Like, I haven't partied since Castrovel.
Do they party a lot on Castrovel?
Oh, yeah.
Could you, give us some tips on, how to be cool at this party?
Well, speaking as an individual that is extremely cool,
Right.
I would try and be nice.
They didn't really like when I was nice before. See, I'm very
No.
concerned because that man, Wisp, did not like me. He was like, all of this, not having it. And I was a little scared.
It's because you were being professional,
Ooh.
talk like a real person. Use words like, I don't know.
Cool.
Use colloquialisms like y'all,
Hello, y'all. My name is Amadou Yuka, and it's time to party.
Yes, like that. Don't say anything about political anything. Make tonight the one night that you don't think about the future of
My people.
your people. Because honestly, I think that's when Wisp is going to get close to the greater plan that they have.
It
Sometimes
makes
I
sense.
start talking and I don't know where I'm going.
I'm just listening to you.
Good.
If you're done, you're done. You don't have to, like...
Yeah, well, no, I know. I feel like I should,
I
teach
don't-
you things.
No, I don't
For
feel
some
like I've
reason.
listened to you enough, so I just wanted to make sure I took some time to do that.
Oh, yeah, no, we're cool. We're
Okay.
totally cool. Just don't talk politics. It'll be totally cool.
Can we have, like, a sign where you're like, ease up?
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about my people, so it's tough.
Oh, I know.
Right.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. Maybe the sign can be, I'm going to cross my eyes like this. Did you see that? Tell me
I
to do
did.
it again. Just
Yeah,
like
I
this.
liked it.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Thanks. I had to practice
really
for a
cool.
while. But
I feel like I'd
whenever
get dizzy
do
if I did
this,
that. Yeah,
you-
stop, whatever.
You stop.
Say nothing.
No, you should keep speaking. Just change the subject to something that's not your people. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, talk about anything. I don't know. Fur care. How you decide to lick random androids. Stuff like that.
He's not random. He's a very special android.
Okay, even more concerned. Anyway,
It's not-
I'm gonna go check.
He needed help with his hair. I feel like we're suffering from some cultural differences.
Us Kasathas are rather reserved.
It's weird that you're so hands off.
I have many hands.
I
Yes,
know.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Well, I wasn't making. Yeah, I guess that is a joke too, but not intentional.
No, we keep to ourselves mostly. That's why we have our walkabouts. You know, we kick the kid out. They walk about. They maybe come back. They hope you come
Like
back.
a vision quest?
The fuck is a vision quest?
So maybe not. She goes, well, on logic. Never mind.
No. What is a vision quest?
It's like when you go out alone and try to understand the music of the spheres. When you hear Desna for the first time and she calls to you when you're alone and all you can hear is the movement and the emanations from the void.
That's way prettier than a walkabout. Literally, they send you off the planet to walk about and then realize how shit the entire world is so that you end up going back to the planet and contributing to like a kind of living, breathing, I guess, library
All
that
hail
is Idari.
Kasatha.
No, not really. It's just we think we're better than everyone else, and I don't like
You
that.
might be.
No, we're
No?
not.
I feel like there's more similarities than you'd think between a walkabout and a vision quest. I used a lot of big words, which is weird for me, I know. But, sorry.
Which big
Oh
words
god,
did
I
you
just
use?
jacked out of the Matrix. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, shut
No.
up! Shut up,
I jacked out of the Matrix there. I need to get back in. She says, I mean, part of what you do on when you're listening to the music of the spheres is to understand, where your greater destiny is. And sometimes that's at home with your family and friends, and other times that's elsewhere.
Yeah,
So it's a little bit the same, just different words.
yeah. I
Maybe
like
the reasons are a little bit different. If what you're saying is true, that it's all just a big game to get people to come back home,
It literally is.
do you not want to go back home?
I don't really care either way. I had fun at home, but it's like small. Because I lived on the world ship. It's not even a real planet, it's just kind of a satellite. So, I mean, going home is fun and all, I guess.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
You sound like the Castrovillian professor.
No, I don't. Back it up, Amaruk. Okay. She like kind of grumbles to herself for a second and is like, no, I just mean, when they sense, like, what's your best case scenario?
Well, to be honest, I'd like to go back. I found
Alright.
some things there that are my kind of magic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool. Yeah. Interesting. Well, let's get you back there after we party. Yeah?
Well, yeah, and colonize.
Well, that's like,
Let's
it's
take
like
it.
one day at a time, just like you said, not going to think about the future, la la.
Great, good job.
Wee woo.
Awesome. What is this
we will.
I don't know.
Did I say
Docking
something?
experience points for you.
No!
Alright.
Yeah.
Would I be able to insert myself into a scene?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. First of all, I have changed my outfit.
Important.
Good, what are you
Important.
wearing?
It's more like a galactic disco chic, I think I'm going for, with bell-bottom pants and like a
Oh.
blue shiny stripe down like the
My
white pants.
God, yes.
Cool.
First, so I enter the infirmary and, kind of meekly just go, "Hey there, you guy.
Hey,
You taking any more visits today?"
sure.
Okay, I don't mean to impose, but
No. I'm just tired.
I understand. I'll be brief. He kind of just sits down right next to him. You didn't have to do what you did, but you did something incredible, honestly. And
You
if
did most of it. You did.
but I was gonna go there alone, and you offered yourself. I mean, if it were just me alone, I might have had the same fate, but no one to save me. I'm just sort of glad I had a partner in crime,
Oh. Sorry, everything hurts right now.
I'm sorry.
We haven't had many chances to talk, Caster.
We haven't, actually.
I'll tell you what happens when you run away from your life and you live on the streets. You get to become a really good judge of character, really. And the truth is, you don't give yourself half as much credit as you should. So, while you probably could have been fine by yourself, having a little help hedge the bets. Because the truth is that this ship, it's not flying anywhere without you. This crew, you're not going anywhere without you. So you had to come back. And whether it was because I dragged you or because I made you drag me, you had to come back. And you did.
Thank you. That was very nice of you to say. I just worry, I just don't want to lose anyone else. I've lost a lot of people in my life, and I know we haven't known each other for a long time, but I know I'm going to miss you if anything happens, and I don't want that to happen. So, I'm looking out for you.
What do androids believe about death?
I mean, what everyone else believes. I mean, when we pass on, everyone knows that, our soul leaves our body and, that's it. We just go to the big android god in the sky. But I think there's something a little bit more. When we do pass on, we just leave our body, and that leaves it so another soul can pass through, that's what everyone thinks. So I've been coming to think that it's not important when we pass on to that great beyond, but what we leave behind. Our bodies, our, relationships with everyone else. I don't really know where I was going with this, but I guess I'll say That... I just want to leave something meaningful. I mean, I was on the streets too, but I was just found on the streets of Arl in pieces. I didn't have any legs, or a right arm, or a voice box.
You have those things today.
I do. Well, I have many people to thank for that.
What happens to us? All I know is I wasn't planning to die. I'm not chasing death. We're here for another day.
That we are. You know, I don't think we need really to worry about what happens to us when we die. That's none of our business. Not for the living. We'll worry about that when we're not around anymore, I guess.
I just wonder what other people think about it because anyways, I need to get some sleep.
Please
You
do.
have a party to go to, it looks like.
Sure.
Those are some mighty fine pants you got on.
Oh, thank you.
So specific.
I love these
Go
pants.
have fun. And hey, see if you can take the squawks with you. You can probably use some fresh air.
I certainly can do that. You want me to bring you anything before I leave, or even from the party?
Kia's got it. I'll be fine.
All right, Hanson. And he takes his leave.
So, party?
420 blazing!
We getting high
Wrong
with
with
the
you.
eyes.
Okay, so you guys slide over the mangrove forests, right? What's that, Kodiak?
Not me, right? I'm late at.
If you, whatever you want to do.
I mean, Aww.
Are we in a weekend at Bernie's yet?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I don't see any way. Like the way you described my condition to me on that ship, I don't see any way that I'm present.
You can hang out.
Yeah, but we'll
We'll
be your
go on.
designated driver.
We'll,
You
like,
don't have to
kick you
do
out the
anything.
Yeah, and
Okay.
get a piggyback ride.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We just make sure you're okay and don't party too hard.
Yeah.
Keep the ship open and close by.
Having some good food that's not like dried space ice cream is probably good for
Probably a
you.
good idea.
So
In
that,
my mind, that's all we have on the ship
Kia's
is
dots.
freeze-dried ice cream.
So I don't know, Helena, let me know if you would want to go in with this because, but after that, like emotional, like imagine that, like Kia comes back in and is like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm just like
No.
I try to pull the same shit with you, and you're just like,
No.
No.
Yoink.
Great.
just like pull me up to my feet. I'm like, oh, like little bouts of nausea, and I'm like, but
I'll get you some seltzer.
So
For
the
your
Gin and
radiation
tonic.
poisoning.
yeah.
shallow seas here stretch for miles, and these saltwater or briny shallows are covered in these pale, long-rooted trees with these massive, drooping, vine-like leaves that span their roots span over the saline waters. And in the bones of these roots swim hundreds of different fish and lizards of all sorts, and the branches swing these aviary apes, and these ooze snakes crawl hungrily, looking for sleeping prey. And in an especially tightly packed, branches of these trees hangs this small outpost surrounding these ships, which are actually mostly nestled
Uh-huh.
into the trees, with one larger one floating in a small cove, right? Or I guess a small clearing, really. And you are led down by people guiding your
Mhm.
pathways with illuminated sticks.
What
and they
color
guide
are
you
they?
down. Red.
Cool.
It's not part of the party.
I just
Maruk's oh, party sticks!
yeah, that's exactly it. Flower sticks, my favorite.
And you land, and as you get out, you are greeted by a cheer that comes up from the group.
drinks are brought over, right? And Wisp, who is like limping slightly, he's got like his head is bandaged up, and you can see like clearly that there was like a solid head wound from his impact. Comes up to you and shakes your hand. Says, "Welcome."
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course.
We got you.
We can't be friends if you're dead.
Oh, God.
But it leans like over to Kia. Who is this?
Oh, Wisp. This right here is Kodiak.
And this is your scout.
Yeah.
Yes. Best there is.
He looks a little worse for wear. You all right?
Well,
Radiation poisoning.
yeah. Some bad choices made, but more people are alive.
On the ship, you find out anything?
Oh yes, and so I hold up my data pad and I say I'm happy to share the information that we found.
Or we can have a drink first, and then share information. It's a party,
We were already brought drinks.
What?
We already were brought drinks.
Oh. Wrong hand.
It was so good.
It was in my other hand.
It's like
He is pretty small. Like
so good. Wrong hand. Oh, nothing's ever been better.
All right. Well, tonight is for an escape from all that, and tomorrow we I don't
can
know.
sit
We
down.
talk about war. I don't think it's time to go to war yet.
Yeah, that would be good.
I mean, should I tell him about the escape pods? Should we tell him about the escape pods at least?
I mean, all you should know, just so we can all be a bit careful, is that there were escape pods jettisoned, about 8 of them.
Where'd they go?
Oh, that we don't know.
You didn't scan for emissions?
We did, but we weren't able, because we did do that, right?
No.
We did.
Oh no.
We did a cursory
You
scan.
did a bad scan, and then you found out that escape pods had been lost, and then you didn't follow
Is it in any of the mission statements? Because wouldn't it be in the captain's log?
You haven't had the time to look.
Okay, well, I can look and see if we have anything in the captain's log. We downloaded the entire thing onto my datapad, but we haven't had a chance to do it yet.
All right.
But I guess I'll get on that right now.
Just over my drink real quick.
Yeah.
Just realizing
I hold the drink in my mouth and I'm awkwardly. I look at you kind of jealously with your forearms and I'm trying to balance.
Yeah, I mean,
So
Please.
from the information on the computers, you find out that they were on some kind of a mission, which was not obviously, that was very classified even to the general troops and even some of the officers on board.
Yeah.
You do notice that the structure is very military in the way that they speak
Yeah,
about
yeah.
everybody, right? But this is, in fact, they refer to themselves as the Red Planet Regiment.
oh no.
Have you ever heard of the Red Planet Regiment before?
My red planet?
What are you claiming is your red planet?
Kasathan planet.
Could be.
Well,
Could be. Nothing. I've never heard that name before.
Well, that's who they seem
Red Planet Regiment. You can make a culture check though, Kian.
Can I make a culture check or no?
Yeah, sure.
A 21. Wait, no, 22.
Never heard
16.
of anything like that.
Would this be an underworld
What am
thing?
I thinking of?
Okay.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of,
Yeah, I know what you're thinking of.
Okay.
All right, so I
There.
scroll all the way to the end to see
Yeah.
what the
So,
last.
as for the Pact Worlders, Red Planet would refer to Akaton, right? For the Kasathans, Red Planet refers to something else and Akaton.
Okay.
So what
Someone
would it
had a
say?
question. I'm sorry.
I said when I scroll to the end to see what their last words about what they were doing when they abandoned.
what you do find is that they have been hired by a half elf named Mr. Part, and that's really all you know. Information is being carefully kept until they need it's on a need to know basis.
So I kind of embarrassedly, I take a chip basically with the info and I hand it to him and I explain, everything I read, and then I say, unfortunately, we had to spend our time up there trying to make sure that we didn't destroy this entire area. We had to spend our time doing that, and we did not end up getting heat signatures for the landings.
All right. Well, that's how it goes. Anyways, let's forget about this.
I mean, who cares? Let's drink, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We lived another day.
We absolutely did.
You lived?
I only lived because of this one. And he, points at you, and there's a cheer that goes up, and Amaruk the Nuke! Amaruk the Nuke!
Oh yeah.
I howl.
Really?
Yeah, just like that.
I know.
Oh.
That was sarcasm.
I was I really committed.
Actually,
I know, right?
Six, do you really want to
My
do that?
dry humor has gone too far.
I was I really leaned into
so
the howl.
the night progresses. How do each of you party?
Drink.
You make a fortitude save, caster.
Drink. Oh, wow, that's a 22.
Good. So you're doing good. You're doing okay, right? You're still conscious. Everything's fine. You're dancing a little bit, right? You meet a couple of the pilots, Speck, Brody, and Tangle, right?
You're gonna be my new best friends.
They're not so sure.
Brody.
Who else? Who's
I'm
next?
definitely gonna try to go shot for shot with Caster.
All right, go for it.
Before she does that, though, I ask her to help me just find a tree or something to sit against.
Yeah. They're taking care of you.
Just put me on the side and
And then
keep the waters coming.
wait, while you're sitting at the tree, it's like a marsh, isn't it? I get the feeling I keep catching little things and then being hold this. And going back and giving a little bug or something to
Just to hold on to it.
Hold this.
And then every time she gives me something, I actually just kind of toss it to the side. But every time she comes back, I hold my hands as if I'm
You still have it. It's like a catch and release program.
Great. So fortitude.
Yes.
That's an 18. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, you're doing okay. You're doing good. You're definitely drunk.
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
Meanwhile, I'm over here doing the Space Jam,
Yeah.
And you, Baruch.
I provide a ceremonial pipe with specific pipe weed. I believe that's what they do. They have this very clan-esque behavior where everyone is a community together and doing things.
Yeah.
So there's certain just rituals that she would want to offer, given that she takes Kia's advice. What is that? She takes Kia's advice in that she's not when you meet my people, she's just hey, here's a thing.
Yeah.
I'd like to share this with you.
Yeah.
And it's nothing crazy. It's not, I know I joked and I was 420 blazing earlier, but it's literally a very calming, soothing, essence. And it allows you to focus. And I imagine that this is something that she started doing with her mother when they started training as Solarians and training to hear the music of the spheres in the Cave of the Void.
Yeah.
And so she tries to share that with whoever wants it, and it just it's as well. It's it lets you hear. I'm making this up on the spot, but this is how I feel it works. I think it helps with it dampens sound and makes you receive it as vibration.
Ooh.
Because
that's cool.
that would make sense for the Vlaka, I think, a lot. And so it makes you feel the party, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Rather than seeing it or tasting it, it makes you feel, if there's music, it makes you feel the stamping on the ground.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel the ripples of music hit your skin.
Yeah.
Word.
And for Vlaka, it's like you can feel it ruffle your fur because your fur gives you a different kind of sensation on your.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I can hear colors.
Basically, yeah.
It's fascinating.
And
Yeah.
while I'm sitting, I want to figure out who these people are.
Totally.
Kind
Make
of
a perception check
keep-
or a
keep-
sense motive. Yeah, I guess.
Keep my eyes through.
That moment when you discover you have a skill.
22.
You're not even impaired in it right now.
Yes.
I mean,
So, I mean, this crew are clearly all ex-soldiers, right? They're all ex-military. What military? All the military. So many different people. And so many different organizations are represented here. You do get the sense that many of them were probably discharged in less than honorable ways. But there's a certain hunger for honor and glory here, right? Fights break out regularly as just part of like a par for the course, right? Seems pretty natural. Yeah, totally. You want to get some fisticuffs on?
Yeah, but let this happen first.
Great.
But yes.
No, you're like absolutely like are a part of that, right?
Yeah.
And, like it's like shoving, and they have like physical games that they play, and there's like tug of war
Oh my
that
God,
happens.
I'm gonna
and,
shove
like, knee
the
deep
shit
in the mud,
out of them.
right? And
Come here, little pilot, the boys. Let Amaric show you how we do it.
exactly.
Caster's
And
gonna
this,
watch
like-
this with intrigue.
This big Vesk named Spot, like squares up with you and like goes toe to toe with you.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, you, like, lay this huge dude on his butt, but, like,
Yeah.
he puts up a fight for a little
Yeah,
bit, right?
and it's fun.
It's fun.
And every punch I feel in my entire body.
God.
Because I smoked. It's like a full body punch.
I feel lit.
But yeah, and the party progresses, and the sun, like, begins to come up because days are way shorter here, and you
Oh,
started, like,
shoot.
later on, right? Which is, like, not a bad thing.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be bothered by it, right? It's like,
Mhm.
you've partied for a couple
Yeah.
of hours, everyone is drunk, and at that point, lights sweep over the camp,
Oh.
and, like, fear and frustration kind of, like, outbreaks, and people start running for the ships, and a ship kind of eases over you and suddenly stops. And perception checks, why not?
What?
23.
She screams.
15.
I don't know.
We better do that math!
20, dirty 20.
23.
So the ship has like these large spikes that ease off of it. It's like the color of volcanic glass. And it has like this red oscillating viewfinder in the front of it that's like sensing all of you. And it has these bright white lights. One of them is like red that like are like shining down over the clearing that you're in, and then it begins to descend slowly. This ominous shadow of a ship. And landing gear extends down, right? And it's clearly not shooting at you, so the panic like
Yeah.
kind of recedes, right? Guns begin to be drawn.
I'm gonna run behind it.
Yeah.
Between me and the ship.
And it settles down into the canopy a little awkwardly, right?
Yeah.
Like it sits,
Not like-
and then it like a branch breaks and it goes like slightly to the side. And the landing bay, what is? I keep on forgetting the word for this piece of a ship. The gangplank. God damn it! The
It's a hard
gangplank.
one.
We're in space. What are we
Descends.
supposed to do? Oh no.
Right? And like steam hisses out from the various different cooling mechanisms, and a black boot thuds on the gangplank, and another. They step down, and what emerges is this humanoid figure in black, spiked armor that looks like full plate, that just is like, has almost like thorns that come off it in many directions, right? And it has like intricate weaving that like
and chainmail underneath it as well, but it's like an imitation of ancient armor, and these like little red points that glow like pieces of magma glow out from underneath it, right? And the helmet is this eyeless sheet of black steel, and these two symmetrical horns of steel poke up in like this kind of demonic two-pronged tower. The creature is obviously armed, carries a large rifle across its back, and it carries this massive pike in its right hand.
Is there any kind of like religious significance to this raiment?
You can make a culture check.
The space goth. Sorry.
Natural 20.
This is a Hell Knight.
Ooh.
What are that?
Fantastic. Tell me more. What's it gonna take to get you into a Hell Knight today?
Hell Knights preserve law and order at any cost. They are known for coming to places that are having trouble with law and order, or places with large amounts of pirates, or things like that, and they will essentially direct the reintroduction of law and order, but if people disagree with them, they will just outright kill
You will be
them,
deleted.
right?
Yeah.
So this creature begins to march forward towards all of you, and quickly identifies you and Wisp as the two leaders, as you are kind of inherently.
And I get myself in front of
Yeah,
Wisp
exactly.
because I know I'm the more
Pre-
capable land fighter.
Yeah.
What a weird thing to say, but yeah.
Yeah. And he sticks his lance in the ground and stops very confidently next to you and says, "Hello, fellow lawbringers!"
Oh man, I thought he was gonna be hot.
Oh god. Wow. So I love how you're like, I thought he was gonna be hot. Meanwhile, Kia is like, "Hi everybody, I'm Kia." Like, how can you judge this person's voice?
Y'all know he is a hot.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so what? She says, "Greetings, fellow lawbringers."
His cape,
Bringer?
that whips behind him, kind of whips up in front of his face, and he bats it away.
Yeah, let's see.
What brings you here today?
I hear that you are attempting to bring law to this lawless system.
Are you okay? You seem a little sick.
I'm fine!
Okay, just checking, because we have really good medics here.
Nothing's wrong!
Listen, you have agency over your own body, so yeah, that's sort of it, I guess. How did you hear about our great machinations?
The Hell Knight Order knows all! He gestures wildly and a little out of control.
Yeah. And say, "Wow, and they chose you to come all the way out here. You're so lucky."
I am here to bring law to this lawless land!
Great. Do you know anything about the Red Planet Regiment?
No!
Okay, just checking. How did you choose this settlement?
When do we march?
Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, that's not be praised. Sorry. I can't handle when Miles does characters like this. Okay.
When do we march for law?
Okay. Oh well, we're going to march for law.
The rest of the mercenaries are just frozen.
Yeah.
Wide eyes on every single one of them. They're looking back and forth.
I look at him and oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No, you're quite all right.
Yeah.
You look at him.
And I say, well, we'd be happy to march for law, but carefully. So why don't you come and sit with us and tell us about what your plan was, and then we'll try to collaborate. Is there anybody else on your ship who could be helpful? Or is it just you?
You will only need me
I'm sure that is true.
in your pursuit of
Law.
order!
Well, that was close. Sometimes you take a shot in the dark.
I am the shot in the dark!
You really seem that way. Like your armor. Can I touch it?
No.
Oh, okay. Very impressive.
And you will be burnt by the fires of my righteousness!
Why? I'm just trying to be your buddy.
Hell Knights do not have buddies! You will find me in my ship when you are ready to march! And he turns and marches back to his ship.
But why did you choose this place? You didn't answer, because there are lots of different places you could have landed.
Strange sounds emit from behind the mask. I heard that there was a quest for luck. The mask comes off.
Please.
Look, I'm just doing my best here.
What is he?
He's a human.
Poor little boy. Poor humies. Doing their best out here in the module system.
John is
God
really
love him.
tempted to take a shot at him, but Kodiak wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
I heard there was an attempt to make law
Yes,
in this system.
yeah. Well, we're
To
definitely...
drive out the pirate hordes.
I mean, yes, that's true. That's very true. What would your stake be in it in the end, though? Like, once we have it, you'd be like, okay, bye, law is preserved.
Law!
Yeah, right.
Wait,
so,
he puts his mask down.
Yeah.
Law!
I like to see your eyes. Can you take your mask off again? It's easier
Kind
to
of
talk.
like deflates slightly.
Easier to talk to you because we've seen your face, so it's sort of like lessen the impact now, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
What did you say, Parker?
I can't do with this.
You sort of like blew your hands. It's sort of something you'd reveal at the end of a movie.
What's a movie?
A hollow video
Oh.
with a story, beginning, middle, and end. If you're lucky.
Our enemies will not be... I don't know.
Hey, can we just talk like people? See, I see what you're talking about. Like, if this is what I sound like, geez, Louise.
What do I sound like?
You sound very
Is it my
determined.
nasal? I'm sorry, I have a cold.
Listen, buddy, I've had a cold for the last 13 years.
I say, just pardon me, but like once we've restored law, are you going to stick around and like maintain it, or are you going to trust us to do it?
It depends. He like kind of looks around like he's discovered something.
Yeah.
Like he's like figured out a piece of a puzzle that he was missing.
Is it
Yeah.
normal for the Hell Knights to have to travel alone like this?
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
It's culture check.
Can I pick one?
He's just lonely, guys.
That's what I'm like.
I don't-
really
I don't
24.
Hell Knights don't have
20.
buddies.
Yeah.
They have law.
23.
And order! And if not that, law again!
23.
23. Yeah.
Alone.
They typically travel alone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're if more than one Hell Knight show up somewhere, something really bad is about to happen.
Cool.
So
Uh-oh.
But if one Hell Knight
Whoa,
shows
we're
up
halfway
somewhere,
there.
generally something bad is about to happen
Oh,
too.
great.
And it's the ensuing conversation, apparently.
I think this is going pretty well. So I look at Wisp. What's? Can I check in with his?
Oh, I'm so proud this is going.
What is?
this way. Okay, what's up? Wisp is kind of like. Before he was like kind of trying to push by you, right, to prove
Yeah,
dominance.
yeah.
Now he's like almost hiding behind
Yeah.
you.
I look at him and I go, "What do you think we should do?"
I have no idea. This is
Help is
deeply
good,
confusing.
right?
Help is great, but
But
those
like,
guys are
yeah, no, you're. And she looks back and she's like, and then she turns back to Wisp because they're like very much in agreement that this is some bullshit. But like every time she looks back at she's like, for law, like she's like, but then she's like, oh shit, what do we do? For law, like looking back.
From behind the tree, can I come on the comms to just our team?
Yeah.
And just say, maybe send him over to the Bears and see what happens.
Oh, no, not unannounced. We can't. What if he decides that they don't want to comply and then he just eradicates them? I feel like the Bears are the least of our problems.
But they're the least of our problems. But they might. It was just an.
Okay, so
He's
here's.
making this sound. He's like trying to clear his...
Did you?
Gia, like,
Okay.
whips out a nasal spray from underneath her little cloak. Do you want it? I
He like grabs it quickly.
Yeah.
Turns around.
She says, "Now, my
No, you can keep it. I don't want it.
Sir, Hell Knight, gentle friend, new
Call me
compatriot,
Armiger Steven!
Armiger Stephen,
Armiger!
Armiger.
Armiger!
Okay,
Steven!
That's a cool name.
gotta write that.
Thank you! Fine lady. Thumbs up for
Thumbs up,
flying.
yeah.
Silent, awkward
Good,
thumbs
good.
up.
Silently giving this person I think there's your in, buddy. So sorry. She steps forward
Yeah.
and says, "Oh my God!" She looks at these two because you're behind the tree, and she's just like, "Oh God, what now?" And she kind of like nods and says, "There is indeed a mission that we would undertake, but we need to rest before we can do it. We've been through a lot today. In fact, we saved this planet from almost certain destruction."
Why did you make a diplomacy check for me?
Okay, I will add a d6, as I am wont to do. Natural 20 plus 2 plus 9.
Yes!
31.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. How did you save it?
That's the point that gets Helena that one, right? Like all of this, she's held it in, but how did you get it? And she starts giggling all over the table.
So Amaruk says, "In proving our valor with our new friends here, the August Squadron, we raced through the orbital mirrors, and then from out of nowhere, the Red Planet Regiment appeared in a destroyer, and we took them on. Just us, with heart and the soul of warriors against this big piece of shit, and we shot it full of nukes and other stuff too, and then eventually we had to jettison the core, and then we had to blow it up in space, because if it had landed in it would have irradiated like the entire mangrove area, which is very bad for the ecosystem, and then we blew up the rest of the ship so it would burn up in the atmosphere, and in this way we saved the planet."
He's like on board, and then he fell off, and like kind of got very confused and started looking around. And then at the end, he's like back on board, and he thrusts his pike in the air and shouts, "Death!
Long order!
Law!
Order! Am I doing it?
You're doing as well as you
I'm
can.
doing that like I feel like I'm doing that like personality there.
I congratulate you!
Thank you. This is our planet to protect.
Protection's good!
Always use it when I can.
When you are rested, find me! In my ship! What's your name?
I am I'm really sorry. Sorry, guys. I am.
We've had the most giggliest game.
Diplomacy is really hard, you guys. It's a lot.
Oh, it sounds hard.
She says. I'm sorry.
All right. Lena's wandering away like an old babushka. She's
Oh God. Okay.
my stomach hurts.
I am.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay. Sorry, I combined two things and they now you'll see the equation that resulted in that.
We should collect first.
All right,
So she goes, "Ow!" and like summons her fist weapon and like salutes him and goes, "You are speaking to First Claw Amarik Yuka of Clan Yuka of Logic." But it was the Awu plus Amarik, and it just ended up with Amarik. Because it came together in my
Okay.
That's what happened in my head, and it all happened too fast.
Anyways, I'm
Almost
gonna
there.
try to get this on the track.
Almost there.
So he turns on a dime and marches back to his ship, and then notices that no one's like turned away. Everyone's still just watching him. And he turns around and goes, "Ignore me!" and then continues on.
Okay. Shink, and she dismisses her weapon. Well,
So what the fuck was that?
that is a really good question.
That's as much of a problem as it is a help.
I agree, because once, let's say he does help us, then he decides that our version of order isn't exactly what he had in mind, and then they stick around.
He looks as young as a he looks greener than green.
He's a pup.
So it's possible that manipulating him is going to be our best bet.
And the most fun, if we're being honest here.
Yeah, he kind of seems like he'll do. Got him wrapped around my tail.
For right now, yeah. It could be really useful, but I don't know.
That's the thing about someone like that is, like, he has a ship, and he has, like, you know, people who believe in things that way without really questioning them. That's...
It's scary.
Yeah,
It's
it's
religion.
terrifying.
Not all religion is totally bad if you think about it and question the teachings, but he's not really questioning anything.
He's heavily armed too.
Do you think he knows how to use any of it?
I'm sure that's all they taught him.
Yeah, that's clear.
I mean, honestly, from the looks of him, he might not be here. I don't know too much about the Hell Knights. You rolled a natural 20.
I did.
I'll give this to you. So, traditionally, Hell Knights are sent out as single individuals, right?
Mhm.
Signifiers are sent
Yeah.
out as single individuals. They wear the impersonal mask that we just saw, right? They use a combination of magic and combat in order to enforce the law, whatever it is, right? But an armiger, which is what he actually called himself, trains under more experienced Hell Knights,
Got it.
right? Until they've succeeded at tests that grant them the full rank of Hell
Yeah.
Knight, right? So there's a distinct possibility that
This is a training mission.
that the kid over there
Mm-hmm.
is either this is either his test or he's not alone. Yeah. or he decided that this was the best way to impress his superior commander, stole a signifier mask, and left.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that's what...
Oh, interesting.
That was already kind of what I was thinking, is this is a person who doesn't know how to be what they think they are, and are doing the best to fulfill a role, because someone who actually knew everything would know the answer to what happens after we restore order and determine what it is. That's why he doesn't know.
Yeah, but
That's my thought.
shit's bad.
Yeah.
Bring him in line, and
Yeah. Well,
we are collateral.
we have no. She says, if that is the case, like if we're all talking about it later, which I'm assuming we are, because that's way easier. Yeah. So we separate for our rest and everything, so we can go have this conversation. Is that okay? Okay, cool. So back on the ship, she says, I agree, but if there is order and law upon their discovery, I mean, it's already the order we ordered, so.
Well,
No, I'm saying, like, we're getting along with the August squadron, right? But the whole rest of the planet is a lawless wonder.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but like we agreed to the people on Absalom that we would do our best to bring this planet to heal. And that is really no different than what these Hell Knights purport to want. But of course, order is in the eye of the beholder. What to us may seem correct may be chaos to them or unwanted government. So, and if in fact he did steal something, I don't think we're going to be able to convince him to go away. The best thing we can do is encourage him to take a trophy from the pirates and bring it home with him to show that, yes, I've eradicated pirates from this planet, and now I am the best.
sounds about right. I mean, best we can do, I guess, in this. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
How many days do we have till my sis and her bros get here?
You don't know.
Okay. Sorry. Let me flip back here. We're on day. No, we're still waiting.
No,
we can't
still
contact
waiting
them
here.
until.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so that's
So-
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're on the 10th day, and so they actually, if they're going to show up, should show up like any day.
So here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Wrapping up this session,
Mm-hmm.
what is your plan for?
Certainly. I guess
We could
guide him towards maybe a pirate place, maybe.
Well, I don't think we can send him alone. I think we'll have to help him.
Of course,
So
We also might need to make repairs first before we fly anywhere.
that's true.
we're going
Our
to
ship
make.
is a
We're
little-
going to.
Ship is not hurt at all.
The
Okay.
It just needs
shields
to repower. It just needs it's like
Shields
a battery.
have been
Shields need
repowering
repower.
and will
Yeah.
continue.
Got it.
repowering.
So the ship needs a long rest. We need a long rest. And then we need to try to see if we can get our friends here in August Squadron to accompany us and this Hell Knight to try to do something.
Yeah.
They're the pirates? The Harpies are the pirates?
Yeah.
No, the Harpies are the other people.
There are two groups of pirates.
Okay, so the
The
Harpies are
Grim
one
and
group.
Harpies.
Okay, the Grim. Okay, yeah.
The Harpies are the less or ones that are.
If we
Yeah.
bring the Hell Knight to the less organized part, maybe it
Because there's not as much order.
Yeah. Keep him
Harpies.
busy. We do
maybe.
our extra stuff.
Well, I think we
We'll be
can
best
call. I think we can call in court to talk to him about, make him feel like he's making the decision when we've already made it.
Yeah, but also he hasn't seen mine in there.
Well, I mean, we can go in and create the distraction and talk to him, and you can poke around. And don't get caught, because you'd be super fucked. It's always the quiet ones.
Yeah, wild card. Yeah, well, he wasn't very quiet,
Yeah,
but-
exactly. He's not.
But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, he could be hyper dangerous. I get it, but
He's equipped to the teeth.
That
Does he
ship
know
looks
how-
pretty
does he
cool.
know how to use it, though, right? Because if he doesn't, bonus for us. And we're surrounded by a whole bunch
Well, I
of
think
fighter
we can
pilots.
ask him about like what his resources are. If we're going to get his help, we need to know what he's actually offering. And once we know, you'll be able to get a sense if he actually knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'd
Sure.
love,
Right?
Can we get Mark to scan the ship, like, subtly, or would they pick up the scan?
I mean, we have a new friend, let's say, and let's
Yeah, for now. For
Just
now, he's a friend.
keep
Absolutely.
him a
Let's use
friend,
that way.
'cause-
Yeah.
I don't want him to be an enemy.
Yeah. We'll get close
so-
to him and then.
I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest, because we don't know that much about the harpies. We know a little bit, but what if they're just like had to find another way to live, just like August Squadron, and we're just going to like blow them? The bears, I'm definitely excited about, but I don't feel like living in harmony with them will be difficult, personally. And I'm happy to go and visit them, but
No, I mean it's okay. I can do a day trip.
So-
a little.
no, I mean we can. They're close, so I mean we could try to see if they're willing to help. If they want their planet to be their planet or bear planet, as case may be.
Wow, yeah.
I'm too tired for this.
So, I mean, when we've talked about things,
I
even
agree.
if we win here, we don't want to leave ourselves
Open.
having slapped a
No,
wasp's
I mean I
nest
agree.
before
I'm
we-
just
So
Yeah.
that's why
kind of-
that's one's like until we know what happens with your sister. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so things that are not tied up, right? Harpies at J.
Yeah.
The Grin
Yeah.
at C. On all of the places that you have not been to
Yeah,
yet.
the ruins and stuff.
Yeah. And to boot, the now force of individuals, of hostile individuals that are on the planet.
yeah. I
And
think we
escape
need
pods.
to. I think we need to make the escape pods a priority because they are people who will
Yeah.
want to come for
How
these
do-
nuts.
How do energy signatures work? Would they like fade like if we jumped back up there tonight, or does not rest
While you're
today?
trying to rest,
We'd have to do it before we rest.
yeah.
to
they're
try to just get a beat on them and have a sense of where they went.
Let's do some drunken scanning.
Yeah, it goes so good. Yeah, we'll be right back. Good party.
Did somebody say computer check?
Somebody did, yes.
Do we need to say something? to
Check.
that?
Oh, well,
Yes.
that's a drunken check if I've
We'll
ever
add
seen
your
it.
shit to it.
Oh, and plus the 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the computer.
I don't work with drunk androids, says Mark.
I'll tell you something, buddy. I've been around a lot of AI, and you're a piece of work.
Alright, what's your total?
Get
19.
wrecked.
19. Let me see. What am I? Alright. Roll a d6.
A D6.
Exactly.
2. Add 2.
2. Great. Roll a d8 once.
4.
Great. Roll a d8 again. Cool. So you do detect some trace amount of fumes heading towards G
G. Yes.
and also heading towards K.
And K. Wow.
They split
On
off.
the same, yeah, but same continent.
Yeah.
So maps are hard.
So G, J, and K.
No,
G
No,
and
G,
K
G
G.
and K.
G and K.
G and K.
is all you
Is where
have.
the heart- yeah.
yeah, Jason.
You do know that a bunch, these were like trace, so probably a bunch of things faded.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
So, alright, we got some places here in G and towards K as well. But that's not all of them, so we have to be very careful.
Okay. I think what we should do. K was, what did we think was there again? Was that the harpies?
Swamps.
No.
Swamp.
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 More like marshes.
Harpies are J.
Okay.
Which is in the north. All three of these points are on the north in one large flat continent,
so J,
right?
and what
J
was
is the
G?
furthest east,
G's
K
the one
is
that
in
settles.
between, and G is the furthest west.
And that's Swamp 2.
G is flat plains.
Flat Plains.
Yeah.
Plains.
Plains.
Well, I'm at a loss as to what to do. This is just like keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I'm getting scared. No, we're fine. So we're in week 2. We have, time's ticking, and actually, Amaru she's like calculating how much time they've been out, and she's just like, I really feel like they should be here any day, but I don't want to make any of these big moves until they are here. Assuming they'll come. They'll come, right? It's probably fine. And then,
They'll be here. They're your people.
Like,
well, I would say the August Squadron is probably pretty well equipped to welcome them if they happen to see incoming flight traffic. We'd have to talk to Wisp about whether that's something they monitor.
I'm thinking about something when they get into the star system first, rather than.
Well, we have thought I was gonna burp. We have system-wide comms, so as soon as they're in the system, they know to reach out to us. We've sent messages, but like I haven't received anything back. I guess I should check, and I check my space mail.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be receiving messages out here.
Yeah, and I'm just like, but nothing yet because it's probably fine.
I'm of the mind that we need to track those escape pods.
Okay,
Same.
then let's do that.
To me is the next step for
Let's head up to K then next time and see what we can find.
If we can make things safer before your people get here,
That seems like something we can take on, and maybe we can do that. Let's think here. If there were 8 escape pods and about 80, then if we think that we don't know how many we're going to run into, though. That's the thing. Is we saw 2 signatures. But what I'm saying is, do we need to try to convince our new friend to come with us? That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
Or maybe some fighter pilots if they're sitting duck targets for skilled marksmen are pretty good. So let's plan for K. Let's all get some sleep. We need some rest.
Great. Sounds good. Ship powers down for the night, and you settle into your hammocks. Thud. Kia falls out.
Oh God! Sorry.
Fantastic. Thank y'all.
Yay!
Sorry for running long.
Okay.
I meant for the Hell Knight to be a nice clean button.
But it wasn't.
Oh boy, was it not?
Then we just...
We did what we do.
I couldn't stop playing with him.
I couldn't handle it.
Yeah! I got a Skeletor vibe with him.
So I just wrote radiation sickness times 2 days on my sheet, so that we remember that I should.
Yeah.
Take 2 more days of
Sounds good.
something.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll work for our brains.
No!
Yeah, I mean, am I just at that level 3 of sickness until I'm no longer at 0? It's not like I'm at level 3, then I'm at level 2, then I'm at level 1.
Yeah.
It's like,
can I
so
give you
I'm
my
at level 3 until you tell me I'm not. Yeah. Correct.
That
That makes sense, because, like,
Yeah, I
once
mean, I
your
might
body
just
gets
carry you
weak
for the
to it.
next game because it's not as fun. But I'll make it.
I'm not a strength-based character, so like as long as I'm able to chill with Nuka over here, like
Yeah, but you have no dexterity bonus to your AC right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
gonna get pummeled into the fucking ground. Into
it's a good thing.
The-
It's a good thing.
ground.
Thank you so much for listening to Starfound. Once again, please leave us a positive review wherever it is you are listening. And please head over to patreon.com/starfoundpod in order to pledge to get the podcast without so much of me rambling at the beginning and the ending. And remember that Starfound returns in January of 2020 on Twitch. See you on the space lanes. This podcast uses trademarks and or copyrights owned by Paizo Incorporated, which are used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. This podcast is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo Incorporated. For more information about Paizo's community use policy, please visit paizo.com/communityuse. For more information about Paizo Incorporated and Paizo's products, please visit paizo.com. Music by Murder Salt.